to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. Call 919-381-1760 now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2026 Winter Games. The 4th and final Olympics for American Jessie Diggins, and she takes the bronze in the women's cross-country 10K freestyle, her 4th career medal, and all while battling a rib injury.
Racing in general is really hard, but then I knew it was just going to be hard to breathe and just a little extra pain on top of that. So I just was mentally ready for it. You know, it's easy to feel sorry for yourself, but at the same time, it's more natural to feel like, wow, I'm really lucky that I still get to be here and I still get to do this. And that is incredible.
Speaking of injuries, less than a year after breaking multiple bones in her leg, Italy's Federica Brignoni wins gold in the women's Super G. Men's hockey, Canada and Czechia are scoreless in the first. The U.S. takes on Latvia 3:10 Eastern. With this Winter Games update, Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Jobs for someone with autism. Programmer. Teacher.
WIN by Autism Speaks helps businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
How about a healthcare worker?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Cars R Us.
Your home for Duke football. WCMC HD2 HD3 Holly Springs, WDNC AM Durham, and WCLY AM Raleigh. The Buzz.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Hey, everybody.
Can't get enough of the Rich Eisen Show? You're in luck. You can find us everywhere. Watch us weekdays on Disney Plus from noon to 3 Eastern. Miss the show? We've got a podcast so you can listen anytime. But here's the best part. Our YouTube channel. Subscribe at youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show and you'll never miss a moment. Now, on with the show. This is the Rich Eisen Show.
You guys know I'm going to Las Vegas. Hell yeah, I'm going.
Clint Kubiak. And what he can bring is the hope that he is the young, up-and-coming coordinator on the offensive side of the ball who they can attach to a quarterback of the future.
Today's guests, Pro Football Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, Basketball Hall of Famer Chris Webber, NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero. And now, it's Rich Eisen.
All right, our number one of day 4 since
tying the Swedes up in the second period before losing 4-2. First match was an upset in which Slovakia, thanks to Juraj Slafkovský and others, beat the Finns. Yeah, beat the Finns 4-1. Finland could have won that game were it not for great goaltending, but I think Slovakia's got something. Maybe Finland has to figure out how to play without Sasha Barkov, but they knew that coming in. Anyway, we've got Canada and the Czechs followed by the Americans and Latvia. And we have already had Switzerland and France play. And as you might expect, that was a Swiss win. All right, we got a ton. I hope everything is well in your world. EJ Hradek's going to join us in the second intermission. This is not like I do during the hockey season, and we'll get back to that 2 weeks from today. Hurricanes and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh boy!
At Lenovo Center. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
We don't mess around.
Yeah.
Dive right back into it.
The playoff feelers are going to be talking too.
No, they are. This game will have a playoff feel. It will not, but it is a big game. Consider what Carolina did or didn't do after taking a 3-0 lead in Tampa. It is worth pointing out that I don't think Carolina was particularly great in jumping out to a 3-0 lead, but we've seen it before. They scored 3 goals. And they were better than Tampa, but it wasn't like they dominated the period. But as soon as the second period started, it was no bueno. Freddie Anderson wasn't good. The Hurricanes also... Actually, was that Freddie or was that Pyotr Kochetkov? Actually, I have to think. It might have been Kochetkov.
Oh my gosh, that feels
game.
like a lifetime ago.
It does feel... It was the 20th of... December. It was a long time ago. Yeah.
Whole different year.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so the Hurricanes are, we don't have to go back and relitigate that. Canes are 2 weeks from tonight at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're going to talk some college basketball today. We're going to talk some NFL draft today. Ryan Wilson, CBS Sports. We're about 2.5 months away from the NFL draft. Isn't it 2.5? Yeah, about 2.5 months away. End of April. We'll get his take on, what the Panthers might be doing. Also, the positions that will afford the Panthers the best chance of staying at 19, maybe even trading back, and getting a player of value who can help them right away. Because we talked about this yesterday. My opinion, the Panthers are not... a marquee player away from being a legit contender. And it shouldn't be about just winning the division. Yeah, you can win the NFC South. It ain't that hard, apparently. 8 wins did it. That's right. Right? 8 wins. They were 8-9.
8 wins and a lot of help from the same division.
Yeah. 8 wins was enough to win. But 8 wins isn't enough to be a contender. So you got to be in the 11 to 12 range to be a legit contender, and clearly the Panthers were not. So how do you get from 8 to, let's say, 11? And it's not one player. It's not. There isn't a guy. There isn't a Max Crosby that's going to be able to do that. So we'll talk to Ryan Wilson of CBSSports.com about the draft.
Mock draft master.
Oh, he is. Mm-hmm. He is. I'm all over his mocks.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Hashtag that.
Exactly. All right, let's start.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
USA hockey gold medal quest begins today. 3:10 versus Latvia in the group phase of this, and I believe the U.S. is in group B or C? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. Their group, Germany and Denmark will be the next 2 games. Germany does have some legit firepower in Leon Draisaitl and Tim Stützle and Mo Seider, but there aren't that many great German NHLers. So Team USA has the second best roster. Finland and Sweden would be somewhere, pretty close for 3rd/4th. Denmark, not so much. The Czechs have a good roster. I'll tell you who has a really good roster, and they already won today. Switzerland has a good roster. The one question I have about the Swiss is in goal, where I think Akira Schmid, who for about 8 seconds was the best goaltending option for the New Jersey Devils a few years ago, and he's a backup somewhere. Might have been in Vegas, might still be in Vegas. I don't know. But he's not a starting level goaltender in the NHL. I think he's their best option. But I'm watching Canada and the Czechs right now. Canada and Czechia, and Canada with a 2-0 lead. The second goal, which was a Mitch Marner pass to Mark Stone, where he made a saucer pass basically from one side of the crease to the other. It didn't stay in the air very long. It was elite. Mark Stone was able to finish it. That made it 2. The Czechs Canada got a Macklin Celebrini deflection goal very late in the first period to take a 1-0 lead. We're going to talk to EJ Hradek in just a few minutes about that. But I wanted to kind of tug at the heartstrings. USA. In 1980, I fell in love with the sport. 3-0 Canada as they have just now scored. I fell in love with the sport of hockey in 1980. Al Michaels, who was already familiar with the game, but not at this level, was the play-by-play announcer on the gold for that whole gold medal run. He was working for ABC at the time in the Olympics. Ken Dryden, by the way, was his analyst, and he was on with Rich Eisen talking about Herb Brooks, the head coach, the late Herb Brooks, who probably was caught by surprise.
Well, I mean, you know how NFL head coaches in your pre-broadcast meetings, knowing that this is off the record, even though it's on the record, will give you kind of a little heads up, little wink and a nod. Go, we got this guy. We have this team this weekend. You're going to be calling this game. We know we've got him. Did Herb ever say anything like that about the Soviets going in? Like, never once said we've got this thing.
No.
Okay.
Never once. No.
Man.
And in fact, there are some interviews, and you'll see them in that documentary where he says, "No, give them the gold." I think they interviewed him before the Olympics. No, they won the gold. So. That was
so. He was surprised by the win.
He had to be, because the Soviets were the best team in the world,
right,
bar none.
And when they pulled Hradek, were you?
That was very surprising, and nobody really seemed to know what happened. I mean, when we
it's like
saw
Malcolm Butler being
like Malcolm Butler, right? No, but I will tell you this: fast forward in 2014, I'm over in Sochi covering the Olympics on NBC.
Yeah.
And Hradek was the head of the Soviet Olympic Committee.
Okay.
And I was dying to get an interview with him, and they kept saying, no, yet. And then all of a sudden, they said, no, he'll do an interview as long as he can bring an interpreter in. Fine. So he brings the interpreter in, and I do the interview with Hradek, and he's going back and forth from Russian to English, right? When he wants to answer the question, and he knows he can get it out the way he wants to get it out. So I said... I asked him about the situation when he got pulled, and he said that the coach, Viktor Tikhonov, admitted to him at one point, biggest mistake I ever made. Wow. Biggest mistake I ever made. Yep, sure was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Can confirm. Yep, can confirm. The United States came back and beat Russia. Mike Eruzione with the goal that basically won the game for the U.S. All right, we're going to take a break here. Canada and Czechia will be headed to the second intermission. We'll come back. We'll talk with EJ Hradek of NHL Network about this game, about USA Latvia, and those two teams, and maybe some dark horses going forward. It is 3-0 Canada. They are late on in the second period. EJ Hradek will join us next. the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. It's going to seem like a Hurricanes game. We're in the second intermission, and we are joined by EJ Hradek, NHL Network. First Watch. Is your programming the same today as it would normally be? How have things changed for you guys?
Well, because these games are under the day, what we do is we only have one show, an NHL Tonight, like Olympic edition, I guess.
Right.
And it's only a half hour, and we're limited with the amount of minutes you can show.
Right.
Of highlights, because the Olympic. It's more now. Like I was told yesterday that they had 2 minutes of highlights per game, which is like an unbelievable amount of highlights per game in the Olympics.
Sure.
Compared to what I've seen in the past, which can be like 15 seconds.
Yep.
You see when some outlets cover the Olympics, they show a still photograph of an event, right? Because that's which is kind of crazy. But, that's always been a bone of contention for me with the Olympics is that, if the NHL is going to send their players, you'd like to see them get more in return, like stuff like allowing for, the NHL Network, for example, to have the ability to show highlights and help promote the games and help promote the NHL players. And so there's more of that now, which is good. But we only basically have a half-hour show that kind of re-airs throughout the day, just because of the timing of things. So it's kind of a break for some of us, which isn't so bad.
No, it's not so bad. I was just pointing out at the beginning of the show that 2 weeks from today is our next Hurricanes game. So
there you go.
But I'll tell you that this last week, this has flown by. No hockey. I mean, it's going to drag because honestly, I miss it already. But man, a week without hockey is like a day without sunshine. EJ Hradek, it's like a day without.
The weekend was weird.
Yeah.
The weekend was weird, that's for sure, with no games, and, that was strange.
All right, we saw a little bit of a glimpse of the future, did we not? At the end of the first period, as Canada gets on the board in a Macklin-Celebrini deflection goal. This kid wasn't part of Four Nations. They didn't know that he would be part of this team even at the beginning of the year, but he basically forced his way not only onto the team, but onto the top line playing next to Connor McDavid with the type of a season that he's having.
Yeah, he's a special player. I don't know what else to say. I may have told this story on the show another time that I'd been on, but like earlier this year, I saw the Sharks come in and play the Rangers, and the Sharks came in. They had not won a game yet. They think were like 0-3-2 or something like that.
Right.
And he ended up with 5 points. They won in overtime, and he didn't the 5 points were not what I left the arena thinking about. What I left the arena thinking about was how in the battle this guy was, like down below the dots in the dirty areas with JT Miller, who's a bigger, stronger guy, and just not giving him any quarter at all, just right in the battle. And he uses the long stick and he's fishing pucks out. He's just such a smart player, and he's at this age to be aware, to be fully engaged in the 200-foot game. The only, the guys, I draw the line a little bit from Forsberg to Crosby and then Crosby to Celebrini, of guys that at this age really understood the complete 200-foot game is really, really impressive.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If you're looking for your first win, playing the Rangers, I'm just kidding.
Well, especially at the Garden, this year. And, the Rangers scored 5 goals in the game. Yep. I don't know if they've scored 5 goals in any of the other games that they played at home. So, anyway.
They have not. The Hurricanes shut the Rangers out twice this year at Madison Square Garden.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Pyotr Kochetkov the first time. That was a much more competitive game. And then Brandon Bussey, the final game before this Olympic break. The pass from Mitch Marner across to Mark Stone. There aren't that many guys in the league that can make that pass because I've never seen a saucer pass that traveled a shorter distance than that one.
Yeah, these guys they're just so talented. And, that play, it was incredible. I think Brian Boucher said on the broadcast said the coaches were even amazed. Like
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy, like turned to Peter DeBoer, like, what that's a heck of a pass. I mean, but these are talented players, and they can do magical things with the puck, and that you saw a good example of it there. And Czechia, they played fairly well. The difference is that Team Canada, when they get chances, they can finish. They have, as you just mentioned, a great play from Marner to Stone, really beautiful finish by Bo Horvat off the pass from Marchand, and then the deflection from Celebrini, 5 seconds left in the first period. So, that's the difference. And, it'll be interesting to watch. I've covered 2 Olympics up close, 2002 and 2010, and obviously I've watched them all, throughout my lifetime. It's such a short tournament, and, this seeding situation, like they're playing for seeding right now.
Yeah.
In the end, it's important, but I've seen in these short tournaments, teams start off and they don't play well early, and then they find their way. So it'll be interesting to watch as it unfolds. And but boy, Canada, they're loaded. There's no question about that.
EJ Hradek is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Jordan Binnington hasn't even been part of the story yet. Now he may at some point. Czechia has got a very nice roster, but ultimately, if the top line of Hurdle, Pasternak, and Natchez isn't going to score, and I thought they were good in the first period, but that's the only threat. And as long as Canada is paying attention while those guys are on the ice, and they created some opportunities, but just nothing where you go, oh my, how did they not score? I don't think there was a ton of pressure put on Craig Binnington at all in the period. So as long as Czechia is not going to get goals out of that source, this is going to be a difficult game. I don't think they're coming back to win this, but I do like Czechia against just about any other team. At least I like their chances against just about any other team. But anybody against Canada, even the U.S., I think, is a clear second to Canada.
Yeah, the U.S. roster, I'll tell you what, the player pool in the U.S. now is. I went back and looked at the 2002 team and the team in 2010 that won the silver, lost in overtime.
Yep.
And like some of the names on that roster, you would just shake your head and go, he was on the Olympic team, because we're looking at it by today's standards,
right?
Which are dramatically different. And it's just a credit to how the game has grown in the United States, and we've developed so many more star players. You look at our group of defensemen,
yes,
for Team USA in this Olympics, and go back to, previous Olympics where you had, guys like Tom Pody and Aaron Miller and Tim Gleason, and again, good players, but not guys you think of as Olympians, in big moments. And it's definitely a different world, for Team USA. Like watching the 2002 game, like Mike York is out. These guys are good players, but they weren't. There's no hole on this USA team now. The guys, there's good players that are not even here, as we know. So it's definitely a different world. And I'm with you. I think Canada's. That's a spectacular roster, but. I think that if we do indeed get Team USA and Team Canada at some point, I think it'll be a fantastic game.
Yeah, it'll be a great game. I think the U.S. probably would have an edge on the back end. I think the U.S. Blue line is, I think, better than Canada's blue line. Not that Canada's blue line's bad at all, because it isn't. The U.S. to me has the best collection on defense in this entire tournament. And it will also, I don't know what Canada's going to get out of Craig Binnington, because he's been terrible this year.
Yeah, well, Jordan Binnington is a heck of a
forget
goalie.
About why did I call him Craig? Is there a Craig Binnington that I don't know?
Craig Billington, I think, played in the NHL.
I'm making up guys here, EJ.
So listen, sometimes we have to mix it up.
I'm making up players.
You have to see if are the viewers paying attention, the listeners paying attention.
No, they're not.
They're mixing a name.
My email is going to fill up soon. So,
listen, I will just say this about Jordan Binnington in the first period of this game. There was a couple of plays around the net, and this is what happens, like, when you are the goalie for a really good team and a powerful team like Canada or a really good team in the NHL, you have to make the timely saves. That's all you have to do. And, like, in the first period, there was a couple of chances around the net when it was scoreless. Kept the puck out.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And then they scored late in the period. Now they've added 2 goals. Now they lead 3-0. If he gives up a goal on one of those scrambles in the first period, the whole complexion of the game changes. So, we'll see how it plays out for Bennington. He seems like he's been their guy. He was the guy in the Four Nations. He's risen up at big moments in his career and played very well, as we've known from. I mean, you go back to Game 7 of the 2019 Stanley Cup Final. I mean, the Boston Bruins were peppering the net in the first 15 minutes of the period, and he kept it scoreless. And then then the Blues got hot, scored a couple of goals at the end of the period, and that was all she wrote. So it's on his resume. In big games, this guy finds a way. We'll see if he can do it again this year, but I got to think they started him in Game 1.
Yeah.
I got to think he's their guy.
Yeah, and Connor Hellebuck looks like he's going to start for the U.S. in Game 1. All things go well, he will be their guy. I'd love to see all 3 U.S. goalies get a taste of the Olympics. I don't know if John Cooper's going to do that for Canada. Jeremy Swayman's played the best of the 3 this year. He's been the healthiest also. Jake Ottinger has played reasonably well. I actually think he's played better than Connor Hellebuck for the most part this year, and he's also stayed healthier. But do you have any questions about, I would have named Dylan Larkin the captain over Austin Matthews. Do you have any I don't know, if criticism's not the right word, any questions about the U.S. makeup?
Well, I mean, as I've said before, I've told Billy Guerin and Doug Armstrong, we've had them on our show. It's like, hey, if you guys win, you guys pick the right players, and if you don't win, they'll be, the vultures will be out there, right? Like, that's just the nature of what this is. Matthews, I think, was kind of their guy all along to be captain. I don't know if he would have been my choice, and I was someone that trumpeted him to be captain in Toronto because. When you get on these teams and these in your peer group, and he is at a very elite level, it's almost like an oddity when the guy isn't the captain. But I haven't found him to be someone that feels really comfortable in that role, just watching from afar. So, to me, maybe Charlie McAvoy would have been a good choice.
Sure.
Maybe, to your point, Dylan Larkin could have been a good choice. So those were guys I would think of. But, I mean, really, it's such a short tournament. The play has to be the play on the ice. I mean, a couple of things that, the goaltending for U.S., everybody sees it as a strength. And, hey, Connor Hellebuck has had 3 Vezinas in X amount of years in the league, and Ottinger's a really good goalie, and Swayman has been a good goalie. But what have these guys really won when it mattered?
Right. I agree.
Not to say that a goalie is just take you all the way. But Connor Hellebuck has been consistently disappointing in big spots.
I agree.
And, Jake Ottinger's had ups and downs. I would be honest with you, I think I would lean to Swayman. He was able to bring home a gold medal at the World Championships last year in a 1-0 overtime game. And people will say, well, the World Championships, it isn't the best players. Team USA hadn't won a gold medal at the World Championships in 95 years. So, to me, he would have kind of the edge, and he's playing pretty well this season. But, we'll see how it goes in this tournament. And those are good goalies. But Bennington has won a cup.
Yep.
They have Thompson, who was on a team that won a cup. And then they have the third goalie there has been part of a Stanley Cup winner as well in Kemper.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, those guys have won. The U.S. guys, they haven't. So I don't know I don't see it as such a huge advantage. So, those are some things I think about with Team USA. And also I do wonder, as someone who is in the business and is an analytics guy and really, did a lot of work with Team USA. And, he mentioned that, from a power play standpoint, Patrick Kane's numbers are outstanding. Maybe it would have been wise to bring an experienced guy like Patrick Kane, who's been in this spot before, to the Olympics. As he carried 14 forwards.
Right.
Maybe that would have been something to consider. More than once he said that to me and laid out the case, I was like, it was more interesting to me because they don't have that guy on Team USA, and Patrick Kane he holds a special place among the players on Team USA. So, we'll see. Again, if they win, they picked all the right players.
Right. One guy that you could really make a case for is Cole Caulfield, because that dude just seems to score tons of big goals. EJ Hradek, before we let you go, and the third period is just underway, so I want to let you go watch it. But real quick, we saw Finland lose to Slovakia. The Swedes had probably more trouble than they needed to with the host Italians, who, frankly, I'm not sure should be within 6 goals of anybody. And the Swiss were very impressive today. Who would you give an edge for the bronze medal, assuming it's USA, Canada for gold?
Well, Sweden would be the team based on the talent that they have. I mean, and Slovakia played well yesterday, and, these countries, guys play. It seems like, there are players that play better when they play in these competitions. And then they do in the national hockey. They have more responsibility. For whatever the reason, they're more comfortable. They play better. I've seen it over many years, and guys surprise you, and they play very well in these competitions. So, Sweden has the best roster. Finland is really they're in tough without Barkov as their number one center. I mean, that makes such a huge difference for them. I wouldn't count them out by any stretch. You get into single game elimination. You saw it yesterday. Italy's goalie played extremely well, and that kid is a second-round pick of the Anaheim Ducks. He is a big goaltender. In a single elimination game, you saw Gustafsson just drops his stick.
Yeah.
Right? I saw that happen with Marty Berger in game 3 or 4 of the Stanley Cup final, or game 6, one of the games in Anaheim back in 2003. So, strange things can happen in single games. But I think when you look at the roster, Sweden, I think, is really they have the most, they have the deepest group of players that could, be the team that finishes third, or maybe the team that finishes first.
Yeah, it could be interesting, although it looks like Jacob Markstrom will get the start in net for Sweden. They haven't watched many New Jersey Devils games. EJ.
Yeah, good luck with that. But, hey, listen, again, I just said it. Sometimes guys play better for their homeland, so who knows? But he hasn't been good this year, I agree.
No, EJ Hradek, NHL Network. Thank you very much for your time, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, Adam. Take care, buddy.
You got it. EJ Hradek here on the Adam Gold Show. So just looking at things in practice, and by the way, Seth Jarvis not playing today, not in the lineup. You dress 13 forwards and you dress 7 defensemen, so you're dressing 2 more players than would normally dress for an NHL game. What's interesting to me, watching Canada and Czechia, is that Sam Bennett, theoretically today, was going to be the extra forward. Except the more I watch this game, the more I realize that John Cooper, the head coach of Canada, has put Bennett on a line with Sam Reinhart and Brad Marchand. Why? Because all 3 guys play for the Florida Panthers. So when you have the ability to have continuity in a tournament like this, why not do it?
Or they just all want to brawl. That would be the line to do it.
Maybe they do, right? But that, to me, makes a lot of sense, is that you're playing Bennett, who doesn't always play with Marchand. Actually, I don't think he really plays with Marchand much at all, but does play with Reinhart a bunch. That's an opportunity, and I watched it yesterday with Finland as Eetu Luostarinen and Anton Lundell, who played together with Florida, were playing on a line together. It didn't matter who the other forward was, but you've already got continuity between 2 players, which in some ways is why I was a little surprised when I saw the U.S. defensive pairs and they went back to Jacob Slavin and Brock Faber. They were great at 4 Nations, but Brock Faber plays, 25 minutes a game with Quinn Hughes in Minnesota. So why wouldn't you keep them together? Well, look, Faber and Slavin were great. I anticipate that they will continue to be great, but it's just interesting to me. Wouldn't you love to have Slavin with a Zach Werenski. Actually, they both play the left side because I think right now, no, Werenski's playing on a third. What? I don't even care. No, McAvoy. Slavin and McAvoy together could be amazing, right? Because Charlie McAvoy is playing with Quinn Hughes on the U.S. top pair. How much these guys will play because you have 7 as opposed to 6 defensemen when you have 13 as opposed to 12 forwards dressed. You don't see a lot of teams go with 13 forwards in a game during the NHL season. You do see 11 and 7 on a regular basis, but you don't see a lot of 13 and 5. You just don't. So there are a lot of different combinations, but I did find that to be interesting. By the way, for Switzerland today, Timo Meyer scored twice. J.J. Moser, who's a defenseman with the Tampa Bay Lightning, had a goal and an assist. They shut France out. France isn't very good. 4-0, the Swiss won. I think they're going to be good. I still like Czechia, even though they are second best to Canada today. That has been a more competitive game. There's only a little bit of firepower. Czechia has a handful of, I think, very good players, but there's not as much high end. Literally, everybody on Canada's roster is a nuclear weapon. Everybody. The whole, in terms of their forward group, the whole group, it's crazy how good they are. And again, we've said this before, you put their second team out there, they'd be a contender for a medal. They might be the second best team, their second team. It is that good of a roster. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We can do one-timers. We might even have a few more minutes than normal with one-timers. I do want to talk some college basketball. We're going to get into the NFL draft with Ryan Wilson next hour as well. One-timers, you can go to YouTube right now. Search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. You can find us. You can put your questions in the chat. Or you
about
can,
anything, too.
Anything, absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just Canes. Could be Olympics.
Could be Olympics.
Could be
There's an Olympic story I want to hit on.
Oh, okay.
When we come back. And one-timers next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Football's over. And while we do have basketball and hockey to look forward to, the Olympics are going on right now. And betting the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. We've got everything you want. And the sports are a little bit different. So while the Winter Games are on, let's add a little spice. Okay, for skiing events, stay with the Norwegians or the Austrians for the alpine events. For the sliding events, those are like bobsleds, luge, toboggans, Germany, Italy, those are good. The Swiss also sneaky good. Swiss also pretty good in skiing. Hockey, stay with the U.S. and Canada. FanDuel, play your game during the Winter Games. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Practicing a championship way can happen 100% of every day, in the pool and when traveling highways. A law of sportsmanship includes taking the high road when going away and returning home. Buckle up your seatbelt in the front and back seats. Every seat, every time. Each time you click it, counts as a winning ticket. Demonstrate your championship drive through your safety practice, a freestyle by any measure. This message was brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. Find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA101.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public Power Systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term is.
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We'll do one-timers here in a minute. It's 4-0 Canada now. You tell me if this is a violation of international law. On Canada's power play, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Cale Makar, and I guess Sam Reinhart was the fourth forward on that. I mean,
wow.
That has to be a violation of the Geneva Convention.
I thought you were going to say they threw maple syrup on somebody, but that's still also a violation.
I mean, just insane. Crosby had a no-look cross-crease pass to Nathan McKinnon for an easy tap-in goal. Like, at that point, you throw those 5 guys on the ice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're lucky you don't give up 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is absolutely insane.
It is.
How good. By the way, it's cool to see Sidney Crosby still being the captain because he's Sidney Crosby. Doesn't matter that he's not better than McKinnon or McDavid or, I don't know, probably a few other, probably not better than Macklin Celebrini at this point. But he is still Sidney Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
At his age, 37, I think, years old, 38 years old, is just an incredible, incredible player, and he is revered in that locker room.
Yeah.
Absolutely revered in that locker room. But 4-0 Canada, yeah, they're going to cruise here, even though this game was super competitive. Again, Macklin Celebrini with 5 seconds left, deflects in a shot to make it 1-0 right at the end of the first period. It goes into the second period without a goal. There's just a little bit of pressure building on Canada, but as good as Czechia is, they weren't going to compete with Canada here. All right, one quick Olympic story before we move on. You might have heard me say this before. The only organization, international, really sports organization, that is even in the same ballpark with FIFA for corruption is the IOC. So with that as a backdrop, understand the following story. The IOC has a rule against political statements on your uniform, on your equipment. And they clearly don't want to break that rule. There is a Ukrainian, I mentioned the story yesterday, but we have a resolution to it now. There is a Ukrainian skeleton racer. Skeleton, think about, you've seen the luge. Skeleton is it's the same thing, only you're facing forward. You're on your stomach as opposed to on your back, feet first. Skeleton, you're on your stomach, head first.
Mm-hmm.
So his name is Vladislav Hradek, I think. And he's Ukrainian. And on his helmet during training runs, he has been wearing on his helmet the pictures of 20 Ukrainian athletes that would have otherwise competed for spots on the Olympic teams that were killed in the Russia-Ukraine war. And he wanted to honor them by placing their pictures on his helmet. And that is against the IOC's rules. The IOC has a rule against political statements on uniforms. They recognize that this situation is, the IOC does, they recognize that this situation is a little bit different than some others, but they are not willing to waive that rule, and they have deemed the pictures on the helmet as a political statement. I would argue it's not. It's simply remembering friends, but regardless. The IOC offered a compromise in a black armband, and Hradek declined. I'm not interested in the black armband. I want the pictures on the helmet. So they allowed him to wear them in the helmet in training runs, but once competition began, and the competition was today, it began today, they said he would have to wear another helmet. They gave him this option. Don't wear your helmet, but have it at the finish line. And when they put you on camera after your run, you can be holding that helmet. That's what they said.
Okay.
You can be holding that helmet after your run, but we will not let you race with it. They acknowledged that the speed of the race was so fast that they acknowledged that the cameras likely wouldn't be able to pick up.
Yeah.
Seriously, they acknowledged this. They admitted that, they won't be able to pick this up, but we're still not allowing you to race with it. So here's my question. If you acknowledge that during the race that we won't be able to tell what's on the helmet, why is that not allowed, but after when he's just holding his helmet,
standing
when
still,
everybody can see it, why that's allowed? If somebody can make sense of that for me, I would be willing to hear the IOC's reasoning. Except that is nonsensical. They have simply refused to budge off of their rule, which is their right. But they should be clowned for this.
Mm-hmm.
And while I can't clown them internationally, I will clown them here in the state of North Carolina. That is absolutely ludicrous that you're making all these concessions, which really show that you understand how silly this is.
Yeah.
Why not just say, they're just photos. It's not really a political statement. He hasn't, put on his helmet, bleep Russia.
Right.
So what is the big deal? Again, they're allowing him to hold the helmet after the race. So he basically went, you know what? I'm not competing.
Oh, wow.
Which, that's unfortunate because, honestly, you'd rather have him compete than not if you were the IOC. But I guess that rule is so important. Oh, well. Shall we do one-timers?
Okay, so first up from our YouTube stream, Mono, do you think adding Kobe White and Tyus Jones will function as a means of load management for Melo?
First of all, in Tyus Jones, you add somebody who I think we all know has a winning gene in him. He's not NBA greatness, but he is NBA useful. And I have always loved Kobe White as a player. Yes, they're nowhere near as good as LaMelo Ball. Kobe White can have high-scoring impact, and I think Tyus Jones situationally can really help you. So, yes, that is whether it's load management or not. If LaMelo Ball is injured, it's all over for the Hornets in terms of, I still think they'll be in the top. They'll be no worse in the play-in, but if he's injured, they're not going to advance in the playoffs. I think they have a chance to advance if they can stay reasonably healthy. So
yeah,
but yeah, good additions.
Yes. Well, next up, here we go. Let's see here. What is the biggest issue for the Hornets? Or that
am I getting all these Hornets questions?
I know.
What is wrong with you people?
That may cause, I know, Charlotte's relevant now for, well, they weren't much for football, but now they are for basketball. That may cause them some problems come time the play-in/playoffs get here.
I still think they have interior issues. I think they can get bullied. So that to me is the biggest issue. And overall, their health isn't, their starting five is among the best in terms of a unit, among the best in the sport. But they've got to be able to have that available to them when they get that, to that point in the season.
Yeah. Well, moving on to college basketball, Clemson versus Duke, Pitt versus UNC this Saturday. Which is a bigger game to which school in these matchups?
What, was that really a question? Look, Carolina should beat the brakes off of Pitt. Absolutely beat the brakes off of them. Duke Clemson, I'll declare this. Duke wins the game. They get Virginia at home, too, later on in the season. Duke wins this Saturday. The league is wrapped up. The regular season's wrapped up. Duke will win going away. I'm not sure Duke might lose one more time after this week, because I think it's going to be a difficult game. Clemson also coming off a loss at home last night to Virginia Tech. I think Saturday will be maybe not Duke's toughest remaining conference game, but, there's only a handful of games I think that they could lose. I think they could lose this one. I think they could lose at State, and they could always lose to North Carolina. I don't see Duke losing more than once. If they lose Saturday, that'll be it. But I actually think Duke's going to end up finishing 17-1 in conference play. But that's going to be a difficult game. Carolina should have no problem with Pitt. And by the way, I'll throw NC State Miami. That is a good opportunity for State to bounce back. Not that it's going to be easy. They're going to have to play well. I know that Will Wade will have them ready.
And probably last but not least, with the mock drafts about to present themselves, where do you believe the Panthers should address their gaps in the upcoming draft?
I said yesterday, and we were talking about it, if I were the Panthers, I would legitimately be thinking about offensive line at number 19. I think that is a sweet spot for offensive tackle, and that's where I would go. We don't know what Ike Ekwonu is going to be like next year because of the injury that he suffered at the end of the year. We don't anticipate he's going to be ready to play. So if I can get a tackle who can play the left side in week one, or you're going to have to address that in free agency, that's what I would do. I know that's not sexy, but the only other thing I would think about would maybe be tight end. But I'd rather have an offensive tackle because I think they have to upgrade that position anyway, even if Ike Ekwonu were healthy. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. Joe Person will join us tomorrow. All right, we'll talk to Ryan Wilson of CBS Sports next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Breaking news. Multiply the Cash scratch-offs are here and have $1 billion in total prizes. Mike's live on the scene.
The word is out, and with so much cash up for grabs, everyone's getting in on this $1 billion. Grandma?
Out of my way, Mikey. Granny's on a roll.
You heard it here first, folks. Get in on $1 billion of wins with new Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.01 to 4.82. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
The Chase Ink Business Premier Card is made for people who make things happen, like me. I'm Sam, founder and CEO of Manifest, a product design company that makes everyday products designed smarter. I get 2.5% cash back on purchases of $5,000 or more, plus unlimited 2% cash back on all other purchases, which helps us make more smart ideas into a brilliant reality.
The Ink Business Premier Card. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $6.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $6.99. That's right, just $6.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
Hunger lives in neighborhoods all around us, but it doesn't have to. Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030, because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
So as I'm going into the season, it's a head and heart situation, right? Mm-hmm. The head says, like, whoa, this team could be a steep drop-off from winning the ACC to falling into not the bottom of the conference, but certainly way farther down than where they've been. But yet I refuse to make that assumption just because of the way they've exceeded expectation. But, man, hope and wishing doesn't always necessarily lead to wins. So it's going to be a real challenge for them to be able to take players to get them ready to develop them in the spring and the summer so that they're ready to exceed expectations again in the fall.
It was Chip Patterson yesterday talking about Duke football. They had a great year last. They won the ACC. They're going to hang a banner. Can you hang a banner at Wallace Wade Stadium? Wherever they're going to hang a banner, they're going to put a banner up. I mean, they won the Atlantic Coast Conference last year. Look, maybe that's a built-in joke about ACC football. I'm not editorializing it. I'm just offering it as you might have already been there. But what they did last year was remarkable. Doesn't matter that they weren't in the college football playoff after winning the ACC. That's a mistake of a rule. Like if the five at that point, the five major conferences, the five power leagues, autonomous leagues, were smarter, then they would have initially built the system to not say the five best or five best plus next best conference would get automatic bids, but that the four power leagues plus the next best conference champion would get automatic bids. And this way, all four would have gotten it. Duke would have gotten a bid automatically, and then we would have really found out if Miami simply was given the last spot, and they were the last team in the field because they were the 10 seed and there were two group of five conference champions in. We would have really found out if Miami was gifted the spot because Duke was not included. Now, as I said at the end of last year, losses have to matter. And Duke had 5 of them. They have to matter. Otherwise, why would we even play? But that really, Duke not being there was simply a service of the rule. If they had been more obvious about what their intentions were, and I guess they couldn't for legal reasons, they would have just said, yeah, the power leagues are all getting a spot automatically, and then whoever the next best conference is, you'll get that spot. You'll get the next automatic bid. We went from 5+1 to 4+1 because the Pac-12 kind of vanished. Although the Pac-12 is back. Pac-12 football is back. Don't ask me who's in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're not great schools, but the Pac-12 has, Oregon State and Washington State now have partners.
Yeah.
In a league.
They
don't have to play each other 8 times.
No one-timers on Pac-12.
No, we're not doing that at all. All right, real quick. Actually, let's run it back. We are going to talk NFL draft with Ryan Wilson coming up in a little bit. But I did want to talk at least a little bit here about college basketball. By the way, I saw Jay Williams. I didn't see the comment. Oh, my
gosh, doing the chant?
No, I saw okay. Hey, that's fine. I got no.
Yeah, I didn't know if that's where you're going.
Are Duke fans mad at that? I mean, I'm sure Duke fans are mad at that.
Oh,
whatever. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. And, I know there are Carolina fans who go, well, he was a Carolina fan growing up. Yeah, I'm sure he was. So what?
Yeah.
I mean, so what?
Yeah.
There were George Lynch, right? George Lynch, if I'm not mistaken, was he's from the Northern Virginia. I think he was a Maryland fan growing up, but he went to Carolina. That'll change your allegiance in a hurry.
Big time.
Right? So that stuff doesn't bother me. And if you're a Duke fan and it bothers you, that's fine. You're a Duke fan. You have every right to be bothered by all that. But I saw a comment attributed to Jay where he said the college game, the product of college basketball, is better than the NBA right now. And I love Jay, but no, it's not.
Yeah.
All right. I've said this over and over again recently. What college sells as a television product is atmosphere and in some cases meaning. And yes, that part of it, I agree with Jay. The game itself is not. the pro game is way better than the college game in a vacuum, just looking at the aesthetics of the game in play. But the packaging of it, the significance of each game, is way better in college because in the regular season, when environment matters, like, I've always laughed at the NBA playing music during play. Like, no joke. Watch an NBA game. If you are able to turn the announcers off, and I'm not saying the announcing isn't good, but if you are able to just listen to the game, that sound of the arena, or go to a game where you don't have the announcers, right? They play music during play. Does not happen in college. They don't do it. There's atmosphere in college that does not exist in the NBA's regular season, but in the playoffs, it's there. The atmosphere shows up in the playoffs because every game has supreme significance. And that is what separates the college game, which you play maybe twice a week, from the pro game, where you might play 5 times in a week. And frankly, when you're playing an 82-game schedule, a lot of games get lost. It is remarkable to me, and I've noticed it this year, by the way, with Hurricanes games. There are a lot of games in which our loudest house in the NHL isn't very loud. It's hard. Just like it's hard for players to get up for every game, it's hard for fans to get up for every game, too. So on a Tuesday night, when Ottawa's in town, hey, I get it.
Yeah.
You ain't into it. Sometimes the players aren't either because it's a Tuesday night and it's Ottawa.
Yeah.
Leave that right there. All right. So I saw that comment from Jay, and I know he was going to get roasted for it, but I'll spin it in a way where it doesn't make Jay look like a dope, because I love Jay Williams. So this was brought up in one-timers about Duke, Carolina, this weekend. I was looking ahead because we got a question yesterday in one-timers about who's going to get the double bye. And 2 things I didn't look at, and I just answered the question probably incorrectly because I wasn't 100% aware of the standings and the remaining schedule, which I try not to overload my brain because it's small.
It's a lot of information anyway.
Right. And a lot of it is frozen information. But Duke has some hard games left. I think they're going to win all of them, but I don't think they'll lose more than once. They beat Clemson on Saturday. I think there's only 2 more, really 2 more options for them to lose, unless they get surprised on the road once. I don't think they'll lose at Syracuse. I don't think they'll lose at Notre Dame. I'm talking about conference games. Michigan is definitely a losable game because Michigan is the best team in the country right now. But Clemson, Virginia at home, NC State on the road, Carolina at home. Yeah, those are 4 losable games. I don't think they'll lose any of them. Carolina's got a few losable games at State next Tuesday, home against Louisville, home against Clemson, and at Duke. I don't know how many of those games they're going to lose, but ultimately, I have Carolina finishing at 12-6 in league play, which I don't think is going to be enough to get the double bye, because I think Virginia, Clemson, and NC State will all finish 14-4, maybe 13-5, and Carolina, by virtue of that lost trip to California, where you lost to both Cal and Stanford, is ultimately going to find themselves as the 5 seed in the ACC tournament, and therefore they will not get the double bye. They'll get 1 bye, but they'll have, which won't hurt them. It will not hurt Carolina to play a game before the ACC quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Right?
If anything, it dusts the rust off.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. There's almost no difference between being the 4 and the 5. Yes, you will have to face a live game on that, I guess it's Wednesday. But ultimately, if you can't beat the 12 seed, then we have other issues.
Yeah.
So I think Carolina will actually benefit from having played that game because they would have gotten into an ACC tournament rhythm, whereas the 4 seed will not. But in some order, you'll have Virginia, Clemson, and NC State. This is the way I foresee it at the ACC tournament. I still don't understand why we're not bringing all schools, or we're not creating a situation where on the Monday after the regular season, we don't take the 6 teams at the bottom and make them play for... And why did we do 15? Why didn't we just do 16? That would have made more sense.
I know. My brain doesn't like that number.
Right? Well, do 16.
Yeah.
15 because we had 15 teams, and okay, we did that, so we'll just keep that. My only guess is that they had a whole bunch of blank brackets left over from those years, and they decide, well, we don't want to waste them.
Yeah. Might as well just keep it.
It's the silliest thing in the world.
Yeah.
If we're not bringing everybody, then it would make more sense to have 16 and only 2 teams miss. But I don't understand why they don't just take the bottom 6 and say on the Monday following the regular season's end, we have the 3 higher seeds host the 3 teams at the bottom, and the winners play, I guess, Tuesday at the ACC tournament. Is that a hard turnaround? Yeah. Don't finish in the bottom 6. I don't think that's that difficult. Or maybe you do that on a Sunday. There's no game scheduled on the Sunday. I think we wrap up on the Saturday.
Yeah. People would watch.
We've already demonstrated that we don't really care about the well-being of the athletes. So why don't we just do it that way? Just to be fair to all the schools. Because every school, this was the argument against not including all schools before. Because with 15 teams, they could have decided that 12 was enough a long time ago. But the argument was, all of these schools really sell the ACC tournament to, local sponsors. So you buy an advertising package for our football season and we'll entertain you at the ACC tournament. There are 3 schools that will not have that opportunity. But again, sometimes logic doesn't play a role in anything, and we have to accept that. In the latest bracketology across the board, everybody's got 8 ACC teams in right now. Miami is one of those bubble teams. I know there were some Tar Heel fans that didn't appreciate that I thought Miami was good. They certainly were not accomplished, but if you watch them, I think you probably think, yeah, they're good. It doesn't mean that Carolina should have lost the game. I'm just saying I understand why they did. I don't think Miami is bad at all, and I think they're going to be in the mix to make the NCAA tournament, which makes the game against State on Saturday that much more important for the Wolfpack. You stunk, and you basically gave in on Monday night at Louisville. If you do that, if you don't play well against Miami, you're going to lose. So State's got to have attention to detail because Miami will come at you for 40 minutes. So they will force the Wolfpack to play well. It is a good time for NC State to play a team like Miami, where if NC State plays well, they will win the game because they are better than Miami. But they're going to make you play well. And I think that is a great position for the Wolfpack to be in. Duke will also have to play better. I had a conversation. Mike DeCourcy will join us. We weren't able to connect anything this week, but Mike DeCourcy will be with us next week. And we were talking about the makeup of Duke's team. And essentially, Duke is trying to go about the business of winning a national championship without a great point guard. And Mike pointed out, and I think he said it on the show before, the last team to do that was Duke in 2010, when John Shire was the point guard of that team while not being a point guard. My argument to him was Nolan Smith was kind of a point guard too. He just didn't initiate their offense. Shire was better at it than Smith, so they went that way, but I certainly got his point. And right now, Caleb Foster is okay. He's a good player, but not a good point guard. Caden Boozer is a good player, and maybe if they played those two guys together more, Duke might be a little bit, and we're certainly not complaining about Duke's offense, but their offense isn't as good as their defense. I know what the efficiency numbers say, but the efficiency numbers are that because Cam Boozer is off the charts, and he's got the ball all the time. But ultimately, you'll see this is why maybe Duke has blown leads to Carolina, why they've blown leads to Texas Tech, and why last year they blew that lead to Houston, is that in late game situations, when you don't have an absolute controlling presence in the backcourt, it just becomes a little bit more difficult to do what you want to do. It hurt them against Houston last year, and it definitely hurt them against Carolina, and it hurt them against Texas Tech. They're still great. I still think they're the best team in the league, and I still think they have a great chance to go to a Final Four, but if they don't, it's probably because guard play let them down. They also need Isaiah Evans to be great more often than he has been great. That's the inconsistency of Isaiah Evans ultimately will get in Duke's way. That's that and the point guard situation. Now, if Evans becomes a much more consistently good player, then Duke can mitigate the lack of a true point guard. Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com. We will talk NFL draft. Best available player for the Panthers might be whom? And is he a tackle? Is he an edge rusher? Is he a tight end? We'll see what Ryan Wilson has to say next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Field makes their way into the tri-oval. The pace vehicle makes its way to the pit lane.
Writes another chapter.
Front of the field. Several cars go flying through the air. Ryan Preece is upside down.
In the history of the great American race.
William Byron wins the Daytona 500.
It's the Daytona 500.
Coverage begins Sunday afternoon at 1:30 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm, Road and Carry. You know, he's the man who invented the no closing cost mortgage. We'll tell you why that's significant. He did so back in 1987. We are coming up on the 40th anniversary of that. We're not quite there because you can do math. So here's the reason why you should go with Miller Lending, the home of the original no closing cost mortgage. Because timing, while important in real life, shouldn't be important when it comes to you getting a mortgage. You're a first-time home buyer. I'm talking to you first-time home buyers. So you're going to get your house, get a piece of the American dream when it's convenient for you. So what the mortgage rate is currently shouldn't impact that. Saving as much money as you possibly can should. And this is the way to do it. No closing cost mortgages from Miller Lending. And then when the rates come down, you simply refinance free of charge. Again, save yourself a lot of money. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road and Carry, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Get as loud as you can for Monster Jam!
The one and only Monster Jam. Packed with stunts, smiles, and jaw-dropping skills. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. Like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Sparkle Smash, and more. Only at Monster Jam. Coming to Lenovo Center, February 21st and February 22nd. Brought to you by BKD Tires. Visit monsterjam.com.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Bailey's Fine Jewelry makes it easy for you to find the perfect gift for the one you love. Bailey's has something for everyone and every budget. They have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts, highly sought after pieces from David Yurman, Ippolita, Lagos, and Bailey's collections, as well as an impressive array of diamond jewelry. Visit Bailey's in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte, or at baileybox.com.
I'm a wife and the mother of 2 kids. And when I get to work in the precinct house and put on my uniform, I can tell you, as a police officer, we're building partnerships. This should be happening everywhere, so the police should be reaching out to this community, and this community should reach out to the police. That's the way to make this a safer place.
Start the conversation and help stop crime. To learn the 5 things you can do, go to ncpc.org/preventviolentcrime. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I asked the question on Monday. I wrote it down. What's next for us? Monday. What's next? Super Bowl's over. We got the Olympics. That's cool. But we can only talk curling and speed skating for so many days. Hurricanes are back 2 weeks from today. And we've got the run-up to the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's cool. But ultimately, we don't talk a ton of NBA here, as good as the Hornets are. So what's next? You know what's next? The NFL Draft is next, and I don't know anybody better to discuss it than Ryan Wilson, the host of With the First Pick podcast on CBS Sports. He joins us on the Adam Gold Show. This is your season now.
Hey, Adam. 70 days until the 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh, PA. I've been saying that since 364, it feels like. But, yeah, it's go time. It is indeed go time.
All right, so we know Fernando Mendoza is the first pick in the draft. I mean, that's a foregone conclusion. The Raiders are going to take him. After that, who's next?
Yeah, so I believe you're a Jets fan from back in the day growing up. You're a Jets.
Long time ago. They're not my Jets anymore, but that's okay.
Yeah, they picked 2 and 16,
yep.
And the worst thing to happen to them, and the most predictable thing ever, because we're talking about the Jets, is that Dante Moore went back to school.
Right.
So then it sort of opened the door. Ty Simpson is going to be quarterback 2. The question is he going to go? Someone going to take a flyer on him in the top half of the first round? Does he last until the second half of the first round? Maybe even go around 2. That's the math that the Jets in particular have to figure out. But if you want to make the safe pick, you take Arvell Reese, the linebacker/edge rusher of Ohio State. He's going to draw comparisons as we get through this process to Micah Parsons coming out of Penn State in terms of – because Micah only played linebacker, and then he got to the NFL and played – obviously, he's one of the best edge rushers.
Right.
Abdul Carter, similar deal. He didn't start playing edge rusher until a bit later in his career in college. And both those guys, Micah would have gone higher if not for there's some maturity issues and that he didn't play last year because of COVID. But both those guys are legit top 5 picks. And I think Arvell is going to be in that conversation. So that's the easy choice there. You have the Cardinals and the Titans. You can think about offensive linemen. You can have some other edge rushers go off the board in the top 10. And then there's going to be a wide receiver, probably Carnell Tate. That's who I like the best out of Ohio State as a top 10 pick. And the Tennessee Titans could be an option there. And your Giants could be an option there with Jackson Dart. So it is not going to be a quarterback-heavy draft. It's going to feel a lot like last year in the sense that you had Cam and then who else? And who else ended up being Jackson Dart in round 1. And then Tyler Shough at 40. And but it's going to be if you need offensive linemen, wide receivers,
yes,
cornerbacks, this is the draft for you.
All right, so let's talk about offensive linemen because I know that Panthers fans are all about an edge rusher because they don't get to the quarterback ever, which I get. I understand they don't. Right, they're one of the worst teams in terms of pressuring the quarterback in the NFL, and they have this dream that they're going to trade for Max Crosby, which I said yesterday I would not do if I were Carolina, because I think you're making an assumption that you're a player away from being a legitimate contender. They won the division with 8 wins, so they're not really a contender at this point, because I'm not talking about just making the playoffs. I'm talking about making the playoffs and having a chance when you get there, which they kind of really didn't this year. So to me, they're much more than one player away. So why not try to get as much as you can out of this draft rather than spend all the draft capital that you would need to get Max Crosby and eat up probably 60 to 70% of your available salary cap room to pay Max Crosby. So in the draft, because I think they need a left tackle without Ike Ekwonu being injured, I think they need an upgrade at that position anyway. Is there somebody that would profile at left tackle at number 19 for them?
Yeah, 100%. And that's a good point about the Panthers being a player away. Max is 29, maybe almost 30, and you get 3 years maybe. The other thing is you talk about 8 and 9. I think the Panthers last had a winning record in 2017. So if you're another 8.5, 9.5 win team in the NFC and you don't win the division, you're not going to the playoffs just because it's so deep. So just to bolster your points, I agree with that part of it. If you're looking for a left tackle, Hayden Proctor is going to be the name to watch out of Alabama. He's 6'7", 360 unofficially. He's probably pushing 380 if we're being realistic about it. But one of the best athletes, not offensive line, best athletes in this draft class. If you watched in the Alabama last year, you saw him running the ball in short yardage situations. They threw a screen pass to him in that Georgia game, I believe it was. So he is freakishly athletic. He's inconsistent, and NFL teams are going to have concerns about keeping his weight down. If he can prove that he can do that, he'll probably go higher than 19. But he is a left tackle all day long, and he has a chance to be there in that range. Some other left tackles, Caleb Lowman out of Utah, not quite as big, but no one is Caden Proctor. Pretty technically sound, played 2 years at Utah. He's going to have a chance to be a first-round pick. And then I'll throw a flyer in there, Monroe Freeling, the left tackle out of Georgia. He's been getting talked up a lot over the last month or so. Solid player, probably mid to late first-round type talent, early second. But if you like him, you take him in round 1. And you don't really care what the media says about the value of these players.
Caden Proctor, I'm just looking at CBSSports.com, and they list him as an interior offensive lineman. Does he have a short arm situation? No. Does he have small hands? Does he not know how to tie a double knot? What would be the reason for him being listed as an interior offensive lineman?
He struggles with bowling knots and making sure the boat doesn't float away at the lake. No, none of those things. And just to be clear, I have him as a left tackle. I'm not inclined to push kids inside just because they struggle. Physically, he's going to check every box. And I was talking to Rand Carthon about this, my co-host, and he said you also have to consider when you move guys inside, left tackle is the alpha position. If you move it inside to guard, it can sometimes feel like a demotion, and he's never played guard. So, no, he is a tackle. And that's where he's going to play. All
right, and again, at the very least, they need cover for the beginning of the season. Is Caden Proctor the type of a player who could, start day one for the Panthers?
You can't see me, but I'm giggling a little bit because my knee-jerk reaction was going to be to say something jerky, like, well, if Will Campbell can do it, anyone can do it. But I don't want to dump on Will Campbell because he's going to be a good player. Yep. He had a terrible night, and he was banged up. Yes, Caden Proctor can do that because athletically he's going to be one of the most physically dominant players in the league the moment he gets off the bus. It's just a matter of technique and getting your mind wrapped around doing the things professionals need to do, but he can do it on day one for sure.
Ryan Wilson joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. It was obvious Will Campbell was always going to struggle. It's like he was on roller skates just getting backed into Drake May all night long. He will be it was the 4th pick in the draft. I'm sure he will be a dynamite player. All right, let me move to another position. If I were the Panthers, I would definitely be looking to add an impact player. Maybe at 19. I don't know if you would need to be earlier or later, but that's tight end. What does the tight end group look like in the middle of round 1?
It's a deep class, not in round 1.
Okay.
Kostic is going to be the guy to go in round 1. JT Sanders is incredibly athletic. JT Sanders didn't block very well at Texas. I don't know if he's improved in that area. Kenyon Sadiq is insanely athletic. Probably had a better 2024 than 2025, but he can play in line. He can block his behind off. He's an asset on special teams. They have him line up a quarterback sometimes in extra point situations. So he can do a little bit of everything. And he feels like someone, along with Ted McMillan, that would be Bryce's best friend. So that makes a lot of sense. He would be an upgrade over sort of what Adam Thielen gave you out of the slot.
Sure.
And obviously can do the things that you want your blocking tight end to do. So that would be a real possibility, and that'd be an interesting conversation if you're Dan Morgan and Dave Canales about what you want to do at 19. Should Caden Proctor and Kenyon Sadiq be there?
That would be, I'd love to see, either one of those. Again, I would prefer the offensive line. That, to me, is my first choice. What is the deepest position in this draft of, there's always a ton of wide receivers because that's probably the default answer every single draft nowadays because every team's throwing it so much and there are so many wide receivers who are available. But in terms of, let's just say, day 1 and 2, what's the deepest position in your mind?
Cornerback is insanely deep, and safety as well, if you want to throw that in there. I know Panthers fans are interested in linebackers. There are going to be some linebackers that go on day 1 and day 2, and a good amount of them. And I'll throw another linebacker name at you that Rand mentioned to me because of Dan Morgan. Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech could be someone to keep an eye on day 2. He feels like a Dan Morgan-type player. He's a good athlete. He's not going to be as athletic as Sonny Styles, for example, or Arvell Reese, but he's insanely athletic. Former quarterback from UVA, walked on at Texas Tech, and then he's one of the smartest guys in this draft class. So he feels like a guy that's going to walk in and be your 10-year starter as the green dot guy calling the defense from day 1.
Oh, so so he's well, they need interior linebackers anyway, because it seems like both of the guys that they had wearing the green dot seem to me to be better suited as backups than starters. And they're not bad players by any stretch, but there's nobody there that disrupts the game. And that's what they need, somebody in the interior of their defense that can disrupt the game beyond Derek Brown, who obviously can do that. Now, just to talk about edge rusher here, and I know you mentioned Arvell Reese for the Jets, maybe at number 2, but other than like some of the guys, whether it's Reuben Bain, who I've also heard might end up moving inside for as a pro. Who else as an edge rusher is somebody that could change the game for Carolina that they might be able to get at 19?
Yeah, and, I know fans, I get where they're coming from, but Nick Gordon had 5 sacks and change, I believe.
I like him.
Princely Mamiel flashed a little bit, so we'll see what happens there. But, right, you can never have enough edge rushers. So Arvell is going to be top 5. David Bailey is probably going to be a top 10 pick. Reuben Bain Jr., probably top 15 worst case, because the big issue with him is not the productivity. It's just the arm length that teams may have some concerns about. But as I think about it and go through this list, 19 is actually a pretty good spot to be. Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher out of Auburn, has a chance to be there. Getting off the bus, he's going to look a lot like Julius Peppers.
Oh, nice.
He's not Julius Peppers, but he looks like it, and he's just scratching the surface. He's just turned 21, and he got better each year at Auburn. Another name, a guy who didn't have a standout 2025, but 2024 was lights out, was TJ Parker, the Clemson edge rusher.
Yeah.
He's 6'3.5". He's 260 legit. He has long arms. Absolutely destroyed the Senior Bowl, practiced all 3 days, and he is going to, if you like Jared Verse, that's who TJ Parker is, and he may slip a little bit just because he didn't put up the 2024 numbers. Akeem Mesidor, one more I'll mention, Reuben Bain's running mate.
Yeah.
He's 25, so he's a little older, but he plays like a grown man, and he is electric, play in and play out. Similar body type in that he's going to weigh about 270 plus, so maybe you have the versatility of playing him outside and kicking him inside,
right,
depending on the down. But those are some guys that could certainly be there. And again, 19 might be the perfect spot to get one of these key players because somebody has to fall to you.
TJ Parker, by the way, is a very intriguing prospect to me. But I am curious because you mentioned that Mesidor is 25 years old. And I will go back. I'll bring up Peyton Wilson, who played at NC State. And I know he's a little bit older, and he had a bunch of surgeries, and everybody was worried about the second contract. Well, he's probably not going to get a second contract. If I was an NFL team, unless I'm talking about a quarterback or a wide receiver, I don't care. about a second contract. There's a good chance if he's 22, he's not getting a second contract from an NFL team. Why do teams concern themselves about that? Because again, it's the first contract. If it's a first-round pick, I get him for 5 years. I know I can get him for 5 years. I don't have to have him for 5 years. I think 4 years is your minimum obligation, but why would I ever worry about a second contract if I was an NFL team?
And that's a good point, Adam. And teams, fewer and fewer of them are worried about it, in part because of the COVID year and all the kids going back to school. And now everyone seems to be a year, 18 months older than they were 10 years ago coming out on average. And to your point about Peyton Wilson, first-round talent all day long. He was drafted 99th overall by the Steelers because of the injuries you talk about, less so because of the age. He's not going to get a second contract from them based on his play so far. He's been good. He hasn't been on the field every down, but it's not. He has not played consistently like a first-rounder, even though he has those traits. So I think you're exactly right. You don't draft a guy in the top 32 outside of the quarterback position thinking that, okay, what's he going to be like in 6 years? You're thinking, can he contribute right now? Because you have to get the first-round picks right. Akeem Mezdor is going to come in right away and dominate. And, if he's 29 and you love what he's doing at the end of his first deal, you'll find a way to keep him. If not, you'll get the comp pick and you'll continue, building your roster that you see, the best way you see fit.
All right, final question for you, Ryan Wilson, and I know this will be the first of several times that we chat between now and draft day. Right now, who's your favorite prospect in this draft?
Oh man, I'm accused of falling in love often.
Yeah,
Adam, but I'll give you a layup now. And
hopefully not by Mrs. Wilson.
No. No, that's a whole other conversation.
Thank you.
It's me doing things that I've been asked to do and then not piping up about it. That's as someone who's been married 20 plus years. Luckily, she doesn't live in North Carolina. She's not hearing this. Hopefully, my sister doesn't send it to her. She lives in Raleigh. But here's the thing. We'll start off easy, and then as we go through this together, I'll give you some sleepers. But Caleb Downs is a guy, the safety out of Ohio State, transferred from Alabama. His brother is Josh Downs, who played at UNC, of course. He is such a fantastic football player, and I'm going to say this until he proves me wrong. When I watch him play at Ohio State, he reminds me of Troy Polamalu, the way he played in Pittsburgh. So if he's a top 5 pick, that is an absolute layup. And what I've qualified it by saying, if you get 60% of Troy Polamalu out of this, he's still a top 5 pick. That's how versatile and game-changing he can be. So if your team needs a safety and is picking in the top 10, I would seriously consider someone. Like if he goes to Kansas City, for example, that is an absolute steal for Steve Spagnuolo.
All right. Looking forward to it. I can't wait till the next time we talk. Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com with the First Pick Podcast, the pride of Bowie's Creek. My man, I appreciate it. We'll talk very soon.
Thank you, Adam.
Take care. Ryan Wilson here on the Adam Gold Show. All right. We're going to stretch. We're going to place bets. We've got, if you can do anything you want. I'm fired up to place wagers.
Oh,
I
you
lost
already
yesterday.
know? Oh,
I lost
no.
yesterday.
Was it Olympic wagers?
No. Well, we always have an Olympic wager. I think I lost the Olympic wager yesterday. We've been pretty good, but I'll give you a winner today.
Okay.
Promise. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Practicing a championship way can happen 100% of every day. In the pool and when traveling highways. A law of sportsmanship includes taking the high road when going away and returning home. Buckle up your seatbelt in the front and back seats. Every seat, every time. Each time you click, it counts as a winning ticket. Demonstrate your championship drive through your safety practice. A freestyle by any measure. This message was brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA101.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go! Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the
right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We thank Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com, for joining us. I was a little worried that maybe I made a little bit of a joke and something I shouldn't have said, but everything was all good. So that's good. Whew. Sometimes things pop out of your mouth. And so you go, should I have said that?
Yeah, whoopsie. That's fine.
Everything was okay. All right, let's, why don't we stretch?
Well, it's not okay for Sam Darnold's pocketbook that he won the Super Bowl. Because this is so weird. I've not heard of this before. But he's actually going to end up paying more than he made for winning the Super Bowl in Texas.
What?
So this is how it works. Players that win the Super Bowl, you get $178,000.
Each player?
Yes.
Yeah, the winner's share for winning. Yeah, okay.
From the NFL. Now, California in particular has a jock tax.
Yeah.
And
all states do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an addition, for those who don't know what it is, it's an additional tax on out-of-state players based on how many, quote, duty days they spend in the state for the game. So.
In this case, it was probably 7.
8.
8, okay.
Because he had to spin around in teacups with Kenneth Walker. So.
They charge him for that?
That was it. Well, I guess it's
Or
just
did
all
or did Seattle get there like on Saturday, the previous Saturday?
See, I don't know the specifics on when they got there and left, but in Darnold's case,
Okay.
he's charged for 8
8
days. And based on his $105 million 3-year contract with the Seahawks, plus a $2.5 million bonus for winning it all, he'll end up paying. He'll pay between $200,000 and $250,000 to the state.
This is according to what? Because I hate to be that guy, but that doesn't make any sense that the state of California or any state could charge you more in taxes than you actually earned for being there. So none of because I can't imagine you'd be taxed on your entire salary plus bonuses.
Yes. I don't know. I'm looking for the site that I found this from, but that's what it was told. So if that's the case, he made $187,000, but only got to pay. Yeah, let's see. They originally they're not citing their sources, so I have to dig deeper. But yeah, this is off of People. People.com. So yeah.
I got nothing for that.
These people don't know what they're talking about, maybe. I don't know. But if that's the case, that's not cool. Also, the losers, if you're curious how much they made in the Super Bowl, it was $103,000.
It's not a bad
terrible.
consolation prize.
Not terrible for being a loser.
Not a bad consolation prize.
Yeah, I'll take it. So, yeah, who knows? We'll see. Maybe it was worth it for Sam to spin around in the teacups for an extra day.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the things people also are Googling, if you were curious about how much Super Bowl players made, there are 5 questions that people have been Googling about the Winter Olympics nonstop. And they more than 5, but they've narrowed it down to these 5. So, number 5, how is curling scored? You know, we like to talk about curling here. So, they say it's basically bocce on ice. So one team scores each round. The closest stone to the center gets a point. If you have the 2 closest stones, it's 2 points. 3 closest, 3 points, and so on and so forth. Yes. So if you're curious,
that's why it's important to go last. Have the hammer.
Yes.
Have the last rock each end.
Yes.
When you do have the last rock, you get to dictate, hopefully, that your stone is closest to the center. But we have seen it go the other way sometimes.
Oh, we have. We have seen that. Also, people are wondering, how fast do snowboarders go in big air? Well, in this event with a steep hill and one big ramp at the bottom, they say it's up to 50 miles an hour. So that's terrifying. Imagine going that fast in the air. Yeah, no.
They're going 70 miles an hour on a luge.
Yes. Well, that's the next question. How do you steer in luge? Which I saw the Americans yesterday, and I felt so bad for them because just one slight, blink the wrong direction, and it steers you completely off. But they say the answer to this, mostly with your calves, shoulders, and shifting your weight around. So the sleds have handles.
They do.
And they don't really steer, so you just anchor yourself, and then the tiny movements make you go certain places, which could also mess you up real bad. Then, last 2. So they have, why do speed skaters wear glasses? Is that really necessary to ask this question?
It's aerodynamics. That's all it is.
Yeah. Even just riding your bike really fast as a child, your eyes never dried out.
Yeah. It's aerodynamics, and also, for some, it might be like there seems to be an extreme glare.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is that too. But yeah, it's mainly to protect their eyes from wind and tiny ice chips because nobody wants that in your face.
You know what I found online, because I am immersed in all things Olympics, that the ice temperature, we have, obviously there's a lot of ice sports, right?
Yes.
You've got speed skating, you've got figure skating, you've got hockey. The speed skating, this is the long track speed skating, not that demolition derby of short track speed skating, but in the long track speed skating, the ice is the coldest because the speed skaters don't want the skates to dig into the ice. They want to glide on top of it. So that temperature is like between 15 and 16 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
The hockey is about, I think they said between 18 and 19. It might not seem like there's a big difference, but you need a little bit more traction there. But in figure skating, because they want the traction, that the ice is a little bit warmer, all things relative, 22 or 23 degrees.
Yeah.
So you can dig in a little bit more to that.
Well, we've learned just over the past couple weeks how a few degrees can make a difference.
Absolutely.
So we are well aware of that, or should be. Oh, and then speaking of skaters, last but not least, which feels kind of like duh again. Why do ice skaters wear gloves? Well, because it's cold. Keep your hands warm.
They do. Have you seen the gloves that the losers and whatnot wear?
Yes. Yes.
Spikes on them.
I know. It's scary.
Don't shake hands
No.
with a loser.
No high-fiving losers.
As Sean Hill sent to me yesterday, sometimes in the Winter Olympics, sometimes you win, and sometimes you lose.
Love it. Oh my gosh, Sean Hill.
I didn't say it. I
know.
just related it.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's fine because I almost did that. What was it? Tuesday before I took my day off yesterday. You were talking about a loser, and I said, "Oh, what a loser," in my head, but I didn't say it on air.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Because you did. You made me groan on Tuesday.
I think we were talking about cheese on one of those.
Yeah, exactly. You made me groan on Tuesday. I don't remember what it was for.
It was fantastic. Yeah. It was great. You know what else is fantastic and great?
We'll see.
Our bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you.
All right, let me go back to my list here yesterday. Yeah. I think I had the Virginia Tech Clemson game right. So that was a plus 218 win. I did not get the Sunderland-Liverpool match right because I just assumed Liverpool would not win it, and they did.
Oh.
An actual away win. First time Sunderland lost. Sunderland, by the way, is newly promoted from the championship up to the Premier League this year. They had not lost a home match all year long. And of all teams, Liverpool, who's been on the struggle bus basically since September, Liverpool was the team that beat them, which, of course, I bet against. So, whatever. All right, moving on.
Well, it happens. We're aware of this. Well, moving on to the USA versus Latvia game.
Yep.
I'm going to go for an anytime goal scorer, and I'll probably give this to our friend who does the afternoon show, Tim, because he wants to know
right.
the first goal scorer. Who knows? But let's say our former guy, Jake Gensel.
Yeah.
Why not? He's good for this stuff.
Yeah.
Plus 160 anytime goal
All
scorer.
right, so here's what I did, because everybody has given Tim the same player.
Have they?
Yes. USA minus a goal and a half.
Uh-huh.
Under 6.5, because I don't think Latvia is going to score. If they do, they get one goal.
Yeah.
Jake Gensel, anytime goal scorer. So 3-leg parlay, that's plus 478.
Oh, okay. See, I'm kind of just chopping up your parlay because my next one's going to be USA. I also was going to go with the under 6.5. This one, not as much money, but put it in a parlay, minus 103.
There you go. All right, Germany and Denmark also play at 3:10 today. And, of course, for Denmark, we have vested interest there with Nick Ehlers and Frederick Anderson. I think that game goes to overtime, plus 320. I don't care who wins.
Okay.
It goes to overtime. It's plus 320.
There you go. And last but not least, in the USA versus Latvia game, will there be a goal in the first 5 minutes of the first period? Yes. Plus 155. Go USA.
Yeah, look. This game doesn't scare me for the United States.
Yeah.
And actually, no game in the group, and they're in Group C, no Group C game scares me for the United States. I am intrigued by their opponent when we get to the quarterfinals. That's the first time that I think the U.S. could be up against it. Because you could see Finland, you could see Czechia, Switzerland. One of those three can at least make it interesting. All right, we have Premier League soccer this afternoon, actually, starting in about an hour. Arsenal at Brentford. Give me an anytime goal scorer of Gabriel. That's all he is. Gabriel, defender, center back, plus 600.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. The Winter Olympics are here. They're in full force. Women's hockey. Look, the United States is going to win the gold. And we've already seen the gap between the United States and Canada. So let's think ahead. Let's think about the MVP of the women's hockey event. And I like Hannah Bilka, who's already got a bunch of goals to her credit, plus 3,500 for the U.S. It's all about the Winter Games on FanDuel. You can do anything you want. There's curling, there's luge, there's skeleton, there's bobsled, there's ski jumping, there's freestyle skiing. We have everything. I happen to like the cross-country skiing. FanDuel for the Winter Olympics. Play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Breaking news. Multiply the Cash scratch-offs are here and have $1 billion in total prizes? Mike's live on the scene.
The word is out, and with so much cash up for grabs, everyone's getting in on this $1 billion. Grandma?
Out of my way, Mikey. Granny's on a roll.
You heard it here first, folks. Get in on $1 billion of wins with new Multiply the Cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.01 to 4.82. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
It's back. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards going on this weekend. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands. On-site financing to get you approved and on the water. Boats in stock and price to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery. Get in a new boat or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale going on this weekend at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or price stopped. Opt out.
Mom, can we do pizza night tonight?
Not this week, sweetie. Payday's not until Friday.
Hey, we don't have to wait. We qualified for up to $750 before payday with Current.
$750? Before payday?
Yep, we set up an eligible payroll deposit and qualified for in advance. No hassle, no credit checks. And with their sign-up bonus, we got an extra $75.
Pizza night!
Need money before payday? Current has you covered with up to $750 in paycheck advances when you set up an eligible payroll deposit. And right now, get a $75 sign-up bonus. Current, the banking app that gives you more for your paycheck. Text SPEND to 323232. That's SPEND to 323232.
Paycheck advances offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
Time to be Bold is helping people 55 and older like you with low vision regain your independence. Go to timetobebold.org for a list of services in your state that will give you the tools and support you need to live your bold best life. Go to timetobebold.org today.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
when NC State is disruptive, when NC State has an edge, when NC State takes on the personality of Will Wade, they're a dangerous team. They border on arrogant, but that's fine. When they got punched in the face, I've got to be honest with you. First half, they showed a little fight. When they got punched again, and they showed a shot of Copeland on the bench in the second half, I was disappointed. I expected to see more grit. The Pack are hard to play against. The Pack of Duke and Carolina at home. He'll create some type of cause that the sky is falling, and those games won't be games, they'll be events.
It's the Adam Gold Show. That was Seth Greenberg from, 2 days ago?
Yep.
Tuesday. It was on the heels of, pardon that pun, of NC State's absolute drubbing at Louisville. Won't have to create a situation, by the way. Right? You won't have to create anything because getting beat by 1 billion like they did at Louisville will create a sense of urgency in and of itself. Just like Hubert Davis won't have to create any sense of urgency over Pitt. We've already talked about the fact that State's got Miami this weekend at Lenovo Center. Carolina's got Pitt. And Carolina's not going to lose to Pitt. But what's important for UNC is that they get back to doing the things that allow them to win games. And you don't have to do that, and you can still beat Pitt. The reason I said it's really good for NC State that Miami is this opponent is that, as we saw Tuesday night, Miami can do a lot of things that will really bother you. They are a very aggressive team. They are a physical team. They are an athletic team. They're not a particularly big team, which actually probably helps NC State. But I think if the Wolfpack are to win this game, they will have to play well to do it. I think Carolina can, in some ways, go through the motions and still beat Pitt. And maybe that's disrespectful. Pitt just doesn't have a lot of numbers. They played 6 guys against Duke. Carolina should completely wear them down. The only thing is that Pitt went through stretches in the game where they shot the ball really well. And I think we have seen that you could do that against the Tar Heels this year. Before we do the Wall of Sound, I actually wanted to bring this up the other day. You're a fan of the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
I love every event, legitimately every event, except for the short track shenanigans.
Which we had USA won a gold yesterday.
Oh, in short track?
Uh-huh. Stoles, I think is.
Oh, no, he was long. I think that's long track.
Oh, was it?
1,000 meters, yes.
It was so fast I couldn't tell if it was short or long.
No, it's the long track is awesome for me. But the one thing that bothers me about the Olympic Games is that, and honestly, it's my favorite event in the other than hockey in the Winter Games, and that's the downhill, men's and women's downhill. It's just awesome. They're crazy.
Oh yeah,
we're 80 some odd miles an hour.
Yeah,
like down. Like what? Why are we? What?
Did you see the dog that got loose and was running down?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was so funny.
On skis?
No, it might as well have been on it. He was going for the gold.
That would be. He gets it.
It was so
Was it
cute.
a golden? Never mind. So you get one run. That's it. Meanwhile, we give losers and Bob. You get 4 turns. Why do they get to go 4 times?
Yeah.
And we add the times together.
Right.
And the downhill skiers get 1. Sorry, too late.
Yeah. Takes too long.
This speaks to why the only events in the Winter Games I don't really get into are the X Games events. So this is what they allow you to do in the X Games. It just shows you really what matters. So in the big air, I was watching the other night, and so an American goes down and he falls, right? But he gets another jump, and he does the same jump to replace. Like, you don't even have to count every jump. What is that?
Yeah, I know. Even though I like to watch it, but yeah.
It just shows you that, these other events, like I'm not diminishing the athletes. They're incredible athletes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we're really just here to put on a show.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Whereas they should allow the downhillers 2 runs, choose your best one.
Yeah.
You don't have to choose. Your best one counts.
It would expand the Olympics, so more money, more TV.
More fun.
Yeah.
But no, you get 1 shot. If a bird flies in your way, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function
I have
of
so
this
many solutions.
studio. There's no doubt about it.
I have so many solutions. All right. In the NBA, there is an ongoing conversation about tanking. And which, if you're uninitiated, losing on purpose to improve your draft positioning. Now, they do various things within the draft lottery to minimize the impact of intentionally losing. But it still improves your chances. The worse record you have, the better your chances of getting the first overall pick, even if the difference is minimal. Myron Metcalf of ESPN on why tanking, especially this year, is smart.
You should tank. I mean, I was just with Darren Peterson, the projected number 1 pick yesterday, and Lawrence. The talent is one of the best draft classes I've seen in my career. And you got a chance to get a couple of guys who could be franchise players. So this is the draft. If you were ever going to do any maneuvering, make any trades to try to position yourself to move up in this draft, this is the one, because I think it's just that stacked.
I can't. I'm not even going to go about the business of trying to compare it to other draft classes. Peterson is a great player. AJ DeBanza from BYU is a great player. Caleb Wilson, Cam Boozer. It does make me laugh, though, that when they talk about the top 3, they always put Boozer as opposed to Wilson. And as an NBA player, I think Caleb Wilson might be better than Boozer. I think they'll both be great, but I think Caleb, I don't know what Caleb Wilson can be. He could be a freak show. He might ultimately be a guard in the NBA at 6'8". He is that good a player. Anyway, tanking is always bad. We have to somehow get rid of that incentive. I guess one way to do it is to get rid of the draft, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. All right. Are rivalries good for sports? Evan Cohen, unsportsmanlike. Chiefs and Dodgers. Well, Chiefs didn't make the Super Bowl this year. Maybe that's why the ratings were slightly lower. I don't think it had anything to do with the halftime show, which, I don't know, had over 1 billion social media streams. Anyway, Evan Cohen thinks that rivalries are good.
I think there's 2 obvious next champions that would be so good for the sport, and I think I'm going to be hated on for saying this. I think the Kansas City Chiefs and LA Dodgers. The best possible thing for the NFL is for the Chiefs to win it all next year, and the best possible thing for Major League Baseball is to have the Dodgers 3 years in a row. You know what's wrong with the NBA, my favorite sport outside of the NFL? It's that we actually have legit parity. We've had, 7 title winners in 7 years? And so Myron and Smalls are pointing out, well, let's have 8 in 8 years. No, we need to have super teams. We need back-to-back. We need villains. The Chiefs going back there could be Kelsey's last game, Chris Jones' last game, who knows? Andy Reid riding off into the sunset, and the Dodgers to win 3 in a row? We need that. That's what we need in sports. The best possible next champions in all of sports, Chiefs and Dodgers.
All right, we're going to talk about the Dodgers. Elliot Johnson's going to join us next. Pitchers and catchers reported yesterday and today, I believe, across Major League Baseball. Dynasties, perceived dynasties, either way, are always good for sports. 100% of the time. Anybody that tells you otherwise is a fan of a team that isn't one of those teams. And they will say, oh, no, it's boring when the Chiefs win all the time. Yep, not to most people, because we are attracted. Maybe you're not rooting for them, but you want to see them lose.
Yeah, you'll still watch.
It is absolutely like, you know what the most watched NFL team for like the last 2 decades? The Patriots.
Yep.
We were not all Patriots fans, people.
No, we were not.
But everybody wanted to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
So dynasties, I said rivalries a second ago, but dynasties are 100% good for all sports. We watched the hell out of Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, to the point where if Tiger Woods just walked onto a golf course today and basically just shook hands, people would tune in.
Oh, yeah. Same thing with MMA. Conor McGregor, he was one of them. He's winning a bunch of titles, all different kinds. John Jones, another one. So people still watched.
I would love to see Conor McGregor get his face kicked in.
Well, he'd have to fight again and stay
Right.
off the illegals.
Well,
You're
you're meaning substances, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll make sure.
Oh,
We'll make sure.
all kinds of.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, it's too bad then, because
Yeah.
I'd love to see Conor McGregor get kicked in the face repeatedly.
I mean, he talks about it all the time, so we'll see if he can stay clean.
All right. Elliot Johnson, our favorite baseball analyst, will join us, talk about the Dodgers, why everybody hates them. I have some theories.
Why the Cubs keep wanting to get rid of all of our good players? Sorry, that's
Maybe.
just my opinion.
That might come up. Are the Orioles this year's Blue Jays? They've made some moves. Do the Tigers have a real pitching staff? They might. Next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
The Winter Olympics are still in full swing, and I know a great way to watch them while you chill down. I'm Victoria Bodenecker here for Blue Shark Vodka, a North Carolina beverage business that produces the smoothest and cleanest vodka. And maybe you've thought about having some people over to host an Olympics watch party where you might decide to make a special Sharky Sangria or a Blue Shark Fin, if you're feeling fancy. Either way, you can't go wrong with Blue Shark Vodka, no matter how you choose to spice things up. So go check them out at your local ABC store today and visit their website for recipes at bluesharkvodka.com.
Folks, it's back and it's better than ever. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. Last time that you can enter this contest is March 29th, but don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Again, caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%, lowest in years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and some car loans and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now and see what option works best for you. But don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. Call 919-381-1760 now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with AutoPay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots?
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Gold. Gold.
I told Jack in the car, you know what the word of the year is? He goes, what? I said it's 6'7". He just laughed.
I know.
It just means nothing. And that's fantastic that it's now the word of the year. What a country.
Can we bring back cool story, bro? That way, us millennials can be like, yeah, cool story, bro. I would love
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Oh, we're watching Demolition Derby right now. Indoor rock'em sock'em speed skating, where somebody you're skating against can just take a spill in front of you and wipe you out.
Right.
And that's okay.
You don't get do-overs.
No, they have all sorts of heats. It's just... they don't even. It's not really timed either. It's more who won the heat. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. It's I'm not. It's just not. It's not my favorite event. I'll tell you what is one of my favorite things: baseball, and it starts this week. Pitchers and catchers report to spring training. Elliot Johnson joining us on the Adam Gold Show. Sir, are you fired up for this?
About as fired up as your Freddy Krueger look-alike shirt today, Adam. What have we got?
Well, it's a red and black plaid. I mean, I have joked that I'm filming a Brawny paper towel commercial a little bit later on.
The Brawny guy.
It's not the first time I've worn this before. I've worn it. All right, so when I sent you a text earlier, there's a lot of people who are mad at the Dodgers. The Dodgers needed a closer. They went. You and I are on the same page here, but when the Dodgers needed a closer, they went out and they got Edwin Diaz, best closer on the market. I don't know. Maybe he's the best closer in baseball. I don't know. He was a Met. How good could he have been? They needed an outfielder. They got Kyle Tucker, arguably the best bat available. Paid him $65 million a year over 4 years. Contract is structured away where it can be, I think, a 2-year deal. There's deferred money. We'll get to that. Everybody hates the Dodgers. They think the Dodgers are breaking the system. Was the system already tilted in favor of them? What do you make of the complaints about what the Dodgers are doing?
Well, the real disagreement. So we're headed to a work stoppage, Adam, but it's not about the players. They're going to drag the players into it because that's what owners do. But the Dodgers are simply just more creative than everybody else. And you think about it in this business, like when spin rate became a thing, everybody picked up on it pretty quick. Everyone's had the ability to defer contracts. It's just the Dodgers are the only ones that seem to be willing to do it. So every owner can get creative and do the exact same thing. They just choose not to. The rules are the same for everyone. The only thing that's different about the Dodgers than everyone else is how much money they get from their TV deal. So if they really just want to make things simpler, okay? So like if they want a salary cap and they want to shove it down the players' throats. The players aren't going to go for it, Adam. Why don't they just create a salary cap or a revenue cap on all the teams? Well, now they don't like that, right? Because as we learned through COVID, they love to privatize profits and they want to socialize losses. So this is just what owners do. It's the business. It is what it is. So really, ideally, they just need to target the TV deal. The TV deals across the game are really bad. And that's a reflection on Manfred. He needs to get that under control. The market has changed. He needs to get with the times and figure it out. But the Dodgers are basically beating everyone because that was part of that divorce from their previous owner.
Yes.
And I remember one of the sticking points was he was really big on the parking lot. He refused to part with that. So he held on to the parking lot through it all. But the new ownership, they're making so much money that they're okay with spending it because relative to their revenues, they're good with it. Just like, Uncle Steve with the Mets, he's fine with the type of money he's putting back into the organization because he's doing fine elsewhere. So really, the Dodgers are an outlier in that really MLB needs to get a hold of what's going on with their TV deal, because that's the disparity. It's not anything else. It's really that simple. But they want to complicate it and they want to obfuscate because they want to drag the players into it to try and, obviously keep player salaries low. But the Dodgers have a little bit more flexibility, a lot more flexibility than most teams in that they're more profitable. So that's really what this whole thing is all about.
All right, two things about it, and you're 100% right about the Dodgers and that TV deal that they've got, that local TV deal. Which they are supposed to share more of with the rest of the league. They have been allowed to keep so much more of it because of a previous financial situation. It would seem fair to Major League Baseball and probably hard for the Dodgers to really argue at this point that the Major League Baseball should say, hey, when we made that deal, the situation was this. We need to get this in line with everything else. That's a Major League Baseball thing with the Dodgers that they'll have to deal with. Even as somebody who is very anti-baseball salary cap, and I argue with my good friends about this, why baseball doesn't need a cap, the cap doesn't do what you think it does, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that I do think needs to change is that if you defer money for your salaries, in which the Dodgers do a lot of, no greater example than Shohei Ohtani's, it lowers your luxury tax bill. So the money that the competitive tax, the money that you are paying directly to the other teams to pool and use to get players, that burden is less when you defer money. I think that's the first thing I would do if I were the other teams, is argue that you can defer all the money you want, but whatever the contract is, that's what you should owe in a luxury tax bill.
I don't have any problem with that, Adam. They have a right, and then this is what gets weird is they want to pretend as though it's the players. I mean, the players wouldn't have any problem with that. Just calculate it and tabulate it as you need to do. Really, what happens is, like Shohei or some of these guys that are taking deferred money, it's because California is the least friendly state income tax state that there is that we have here. And so what they do is they pay them out a slim or modest amount relative to the overall contract value, and then they establish residency elsewhere so that those payments are paid there. So it's a really smart planning tool. It actually works really, really well. But for the sake of this argument here, it makes a lot more sense just to calculate it the way that you want. That way it's a little more even Steven across the board instead of them getting effectively a get out of jail free card.
Elliot Johnson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I've used this example a lot. The teams at the bottom have no interest in a salary cap floor, because that salary cap floor would probably be in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 170 million. And I think that there are several teams that have zero interest in getting to that number. Because to me, the cap would probably end up being north of 200 million, maybe not far, but let's say 210. And I think the floor would have to be in the 160 to 170 range.
I just don't think, Adam, So I remember being a players union meeting, and Bruce Chen, brilliant guy.
Yeah.
Okay, very very smart.
Mets
okay?
legend.
Yeah, very good. He played for just about everybody.
Right.
Okay, super smart guy. He goes, I remember his quote so well because it was so weird. He's like, "You can't trust owners, guys. You give them an inch and they'll take off your whole arm." Okay, and so you create a floor, and all you do it's just incentives. It's economics 101. So they chase incentives. Okay, and if the penalties aren't stiff enough, aren't strict enough, then I know for sure the Pirates are already, the Marlins for sure, the Rays. Like there's teams that will look at those penalties and they'll be like, that's worth it to us. Why don't we go ahead and just take the penalty rather than pour into salary for players that we don't think that there's enough value for. So I really don't trust them. There's no precedent for it. They'll probably write something in to where, hey, we need X amount of years to get comfortable with this. All the while the players are the ones that are going to be, basically left out in the cold. I mean, we've already seen the last CBA here, Adam. You've got players like Juan Soto and Aaron Judge that are really, really good. They're all-stars. They deserve to be paid the way they are. Kyle Tucker. And then you've got basically no middle class, and then you have rookies. And that's basically the way that all rosters are constructed today. It's really hard to find really good baseball players that owners are willing to pay $10, $15 million to. They would rather just pay a rookie and then move on with their day.
Yeah, we're seeing younger and younger players arrive in the big leagues across the board, and these teams will keep them until it's time to pay them, and then they'll
move on to the next ones.
I've already made the joke several times. I mean, Paul Skeens, I give him another year with the Pittsburgh Pirates before he is in probably a Yankees uniform. Elliot Johnson, or maybe a Dodgers uniform because they'll defer the salary as long as it's still legal. Elliot Johnson is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. Let me talk about a team that doesn't have the deepest pockets in the world, and they're trying to figure out a way whether or not they could keep or maybe deal Tariq Skubal. The Tigers added Framber Valdez. They just signed Justin Verlander to a 1-year, like $13 million contract, whatever. I actually had forgotten that Justin Verlander was still viable at this stage. But have the Tigers built a starting rotation? I believe they still have John Flaherty in the rotation. Have they built a starting rotation that might be, if not the best, one of the best in the American League?
Looks good. If Scubal's healthy, Verlander inevitably is going to end up on the DL. I would take that bet at some point.
Sure.
He was in the same draft class as me, Adam, but I mean, he'll go in the Hall of Fame. He's very much deserving. Great player. Good breaking ball, great stuff. So I think what's the interesting story with the Tigers, yes, they're good. Yes, they made the playoffs. Yes, they were, really surprised everybody as far as I'm concerned. And of course the Blue Jays did as well, but the Tigers had a great team and they've got smart front office. Ownership though, just really stupid what they did with Skubal. I mean, he's the best pitcher in the world. They made themselves look really bad. They didn't build any goodwill with him. If you're the best pitcher in the world, you've got some leverage there, and they tried to stick to precedent to kind of, I don't know, curry some favor with Manfred, maybe. I don't know what the heck they did, but now they got their tail between their legs because they lost miserably on that arbitration case, and they deserve to lose. I mean, that's not how you treat your best player, your franchise guy. That's not a good culture that you foster. You can't just say, hey, it's just business. Meanwhile, we're trying to take $13 million away from you, as if that's just a rounding error. I mean, they messed up so bad. And so they deserve all the negative headlines that are going to come their way. Somebody smart should have stepped in and said, look, this doesn't make any sense. But now they've got egg on their face and they deserve it.
The Baltimore Orioles spent about $200 million in free agency. Did I see that correctly? They went and they got Pete Alonso they signed him as a free agent from the Mets. That's an own goal on New York. But I think a great signing for Baltimore because I think Alonso, will fit beautifully in that city. And I think he is a great fit for that ballpark. He's going to hit so many balls out onto Utah Street. Are the Orioles maybe this year's Blue Jays?
No. No.
I was hoping. No. I have so many friends that are Orioles fans.
No. Yeah, me too. And they can hope all they want. I mean, at least they finally went for it. Like, what was what was annoying was the deadline 2 years ago came and went, and they did nothing at it.
Right.
And they had so much momentum. And sometimes when you're young and dumb, like they don't realize the significance of what they're in. And they had momentum. They just needed more pitching, and they got no help at the deadline. Elias just sat on his hands embarrassingly. I felt bad for that fan base because they're so hungry for a winner. They want someone to root for. They're loyal as can be. Camden's a great place to play, a great place to watch a game. And they did nothing. And now they're doing something. And it's probably too little, too late. That division is tough. I mean, I don't even know if they're even better than the Rays. We'll see. But the Blue Jays are great. The Red Sox are always. You never know what's going to happen with Breslow.
Yeah.
The Yankees are always good. So good luck to them. It's probably not as hard of a challenge as in the NL West with the Dodgers, Padres, Giants, and Diamondbacks. But I don't think that they're going to do it. Baz is probably going to end up being hurt. Eflin's a pretty good sign. He's okay. But overall, I mean, in that park, having Alonso there is really helpful, but he had such a good year last year, Adam. I don't know if he can replicate that, and I don't know if he's going to stay healthy. He played 162 last year. We'll see if he can do it again this year.
He plays a lot all the time, and I don't know if he's going to play first base every game for the Dodgers, the Orioles. He might DH a bunch. He didn't DH a ton for the Mets because the Mets had some guys that needed to DH. Let me just bring up the Mets before we say goodbye to Elliot Johnson. It looks like Francisco Lindor might have surgery, or I think is going to have surgery on a hamate bone injury that they say he'll be ready for opening day. But let's just say he misses the first month. They have Bo Bichette, who can play short. They brought Marcus Semien in a trade. I don't know why they're moving Juan Soto to left field. Does he have is his arm hurt that I don't know about? Because why would you take a great right fielder and move him to? I don't understand why you'd move him to left. What do you think of their off season? It's kind of a mixed bag for me.
Well, they got Luis Robert, so I mean, he's obviously going to play a little bit of a role in why Soto's moving around.
Right.
There's likely some method to the madness. Ultimately, Soto is there because he gets on base like anybody else. I think he probably has the best strike zone discipline of any player, maybe of all time. Like Ted Williams style. I mean, he's unbelievable. Polanco is now part of the roster.
Right.
I know Lindor on the surface, and maybe it's because I played with him some. But Bichette, losing Lindor to start, not really a huge deal. Seriously,
I agree.
They're going to be fine. Bichette's a great baseball player. Man, that home run he hit in Game 7, I thought, the way he was walking, I was like, man, he's going to go down in Blue Jays lore forever. And unfortunately, the Dodgers end up coming back and winning that game. But they've got a good roster. Is it good enough to win? It's going to come down to how much pitching and how healthy they stay, Adam.
Right.
The position players are good. Soto is going to be good. I think Luis Robert comes back. Polanco is a professional. He's a great baseball player. Bichette's good. Beatty had a great year, Adam.
Yep.
Like, nobody's talking about him because he stumbled to start. Keep in mind, the best player of our generation, Mike Trout, he came up against us when we were with the Rays. He ran into David Price and James Shields and got sent back down because Socha. So, give the guys some grace.
Sure.
Playing in the big leagues is tough. And I remember he lost a ball in the infield. The wind was swirling, and he zooed it. And zooing a ball in New York is not cool, man. All right. And I promise you that will lower your confidence a lot. So he just needed to bounce back from that. And he's fine. He had a great second half. He's a great player. Just give him some grace, Mets fans, and show him some love, and he'll reward you for it. Kind of like Alec. Remember when Bohm did that stupid stuff in Philly?
Sure.
And the Philly fans were kind of rallied behind him, and he ended up playing well for him. Beatty is a good kid. Bohm is kind of a whatever, but Beatty's a good kid. So if you guys just give him a little bit of love and give him some grace, he's going to be fine.
All right. That's borderline optimistic about the Mets. That's a new thing for Mets fans to hear.
Yeah, but also, Adam, remember, you guys got Rookie of the Year candidate, and you got two of them. I don't know what's going to happen with Tong if he stays healthy, but I mean, Rookie of the Year watch is coming out. Yeah, it's coming out of New York. So I right now he's got my bid for Rookie of the Year this year.
He was so good last year when he came up. Elliot Johnson, my man, I appreciate your time. Spring training is just about, it's here. Pitchers and catchers are there. Full squad's report in about a week and a half. I appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Adam.
Elliot Johnson here on the Adam Gold Show. Next time we'll ask you about the Cubs. Who didn't they sign Alex Bregman?
Yes.
They got Bregman.
Mm-hmm. Boston
could not retain him.
Nope. Shipping out of Boston.
Absolutely. He was only there for a year. There you go. I see what you're doing. All right. When we come back, we're going to rewind, and I want to get to the bottom of that tax story because I do find it almost impossible to believe, but it is true, and it was reported in Forbes.
Oh, you mean the one that I was talking about for seventh inning? Yeah, it's true.
It is.
It wasn't crap.
It's crazy that you could be responsible for that. We'll do that next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Football's over. And while we do have basketball and hockey to look forward to, the Olympics are going on right now, and betting the Winter Games on FanDuel just makes sense. We've got everything you want, and the sports are a little bit different. So while the Winter Games are on, let's add a little spice. Okay, for skiing events, stay with the Norwegians or the Austrians for the alpine events. For the sliding events, those are like bobsleds, luge, toboggans, Germany, Italy, those are good. The Swiss also sneaky good. Swiss also pretty good in skiing. Hockey, stay with the U.S. and Canada. FanDuel, play your game during the Winter Games. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
As the health director in Haywood County and a nurse here in North Carolina, I can tell you that the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline saves lives.
No matter your struggle, you are not alone. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is free, private, and always available.
988 Lifeline counselors are ready 24/7 to speak with you, help you cope, and get you connected to the support that is right for you.
988, the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
Call, text, or chat 988 24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Practicing a championship way can happen 100% of every day, on the track and when traveling highways. A law of sportsmanship includes taking the high road when going away and returning home. Buckle up your seatbelt in the front and back seats. Every seat, every time. Each time you click it, it counts as a winning ticket. Demonstrate your championship drive through your safety practice and stay on the winning track. This message was brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.
You know the only feeling sweeter than opening a college acceptance letter? Knowing that you'll be able to pay for tuition however far you go. The first step? Completing the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA for short. Find out how much money for college you qualify for. Grants, scholarships, and other opportunities are waiting. How far can you go? Find out at cfnc.org/FAFSA101.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Now, all across North Carolina, it's Carolina Newsmakers. Each week, leaders from politics, education, business, and the arts join Don Curtis to share insights and ideas shaping our state. Hear interviews that go beyond the headlines with guests who know North Carolina best. Listen on the radio stations throughout North Carolina and on demand at carolinanewsmakers.com.
This is is Adam Gold.
So Mike Vrabel, the coach of the New England Patriots, they asked him about birthday cake, and he said there was only one cake qualified for his birthday cake.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what that is?
Is it vanilla?
No.
Oh.
Carrot.
I love him even more.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I'm going to rewind here in a minute. Talk a little NFL draft with Ryan Wilson. The story that you brought up, Victoria, earlier in the seventh inning stretch, actually found it on Forbes magazine.
Yep.
And
it's real.
It is real, and the whole thing is confounding to me.
Yeah.
Because typically, players do not get compensated for postseason games. Salaries are structured that they draw paychecks only during the competitive season, meaning, depending on the sport, opening day, opening night, through the end of the regular season. Then in the playoffs, that you draw from a bonus pool. So if your team doesn't make the playoffs, you don't draw from it. Although I think there probably is like lesser payments spread out throughout the league. But for the most part, the players who make the playoffs get bonus money. And what you were explaining was winner's share versus loser's share. The Seahawks, each player received $178,000 for winning the Super Bowl. Which, by the way, if you're a rookie player and you were not like a first-round pick, if you were an undrafted free agent rookie.
It's nice.
It's, 25% of your salary?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I don't know what the NFL minimum is. It's probably in the neighborhood of $750,000. So $178,000 is about 25% of that. The losing team each got just over $100,000. What you were pointing out was that Sam Darnold's tax burden as a visiting player in the state of California they calculated it as almost $250,000.
Yep.
So my brain tells me this, because I know it works this way in a lot of other sports. And oh, by the way, according to my sources, the state of North Carolina has a very similar tax law for visiting athletes. Of course,
Good thing they'll never have the Super Bowl here,
exactly,
I guess.
Exactly. So, but my understanding when it comes to other sports, and maybe this is just regular season, that when you play as a visiting athlete, so when the Flyers come play in Raleigh against the Hurricanes, that whatever you get to play in that game, and that's how a lot of these things are done, it's a per game, salary, so to speak. Not per game you play, but per game that you're on the roster for. That you would be responsible for, as a visiting player, whatever the tax is. I'm not going to get into it because I don't understand how it works other than the logic of it. So you would be responsible for a percentage of what you would have earned as a visiting player from out of state. But I have a hard time, and I'm obviously wrong, but I have a hard time with like Sam Darnold, who earned whatever he earned this year, and whatever bonus he got. This is not about the payment the league gives you, but it's also about whatever bonus money the team gives you for advancing in the playoffs. I don't know, and maybe it is. Maybe the tax is such where if Darnold got $2.5 million for winning the Super Bowl, maybe he owes the state of California 10% of that. And if that's the case, that's why, I don't believe they're taking all the monies earned into account here, but it certainly makes it a more interesting story if Darnold, who got paid by the league $178,000 for winning the Super Bowl, or for being on the winning team of the Super Bowl, that his tax burden, because of all the other monies he got, ended up being higher than what he got paid from the league.
Yes.
But it's just, I would be happy to pay that tax.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I volunteer.
Yeah.
I volunteer to be in Sam Darnold's shoes.
Yes.
Just for that day.
Exactly. You might get it all in quarters.
I will write the tax check to the state of California if I get the other perks.
Yeah.
Including Disneyland.
Oh, yeah. While he's spinning around in the teacups.
That's all I got to
Hey,
say.
it didn't faze him. He didn't look bothered, so.
Why would you be bothered?
He's good.
Why would you possibly be bothered by anything? All right, before we get to the rewind, I want you to hear one thing. I saw this online, and frankly, we need to get past, I don't know, maybe not. I don't want to like overdo the hot take here. Jerome Tang is the head coach at Kansas State, basketball coach at Kansas State. They've had great runs recently, and he's just a really down-to-earth sounding guy, and I think everybody is captivated by him. They got beat badly. I don't even know by whom, on their own floor, and he, in the press conference, he was over it.
I'm going to honor Christ like I always do. Blessed to do this, but this was embarrassing. These dudes do not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few of them in it next year. I'm embarrassed for the university. I'm embarrassed for our fans, our student section. You know, it is just ridiculous. We got practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we will get this thing right. I have no answer, no words. So y'all got two questions. So whoever want to ask two questions, I'll answer them to the best of my ability right now. But right now, I'm pissed.
All right. Now, first of all, they lost at home to Cincinnati. Shout out to Wes Miller, the head coach at Cincy. They lost at home 91-62. They lost by 29 points.
It wasn't 191-62.
They lost on their home floor by 29 points. They got absolutely thumped. They are on a 5-game losing streak, so the fifth in this 5-game losing streak, and they have lost 10 of their last 11 games. Some of those are also blowouts. But what really jumped out to me there was obviously how mad he was, even though he maintained a level of calm, was that he basically told the world that he is getting rid of those players. They don't deserve to wear the uniform. I mean, bruh, you're 10-14.
Right.
It's not like you had a good team and they just got whacked that particular night. You've got a 4-game losing streak and now 2 5-game losing streaks this year. It seems that when you have played good teams, you've gotten absolutely run off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've played bad teams, you're able to win.
Right.
It's very possible that the team that you compiled isn't good.
There's that.
We could blame the players. We'll see you at 6 a.m.
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah. At least he doesn't do the whole, you don't get to shower or whatever. That coach was like, if we lose, I'm not showering because, that'd be bad. It'd not be fun.
Everybody should shower.
Everyone.
We should not. Don't take away hygiene.
Yeah, no.
And don't take food away.
Yes.
We don't want to do that.
Neither of those.
All right. Let's rewind. All right, I want to talk about the NFL draft and the Carolina Panthers. Ryan Wilson, CBSSports.com. He does the With the First Pick podcast with former NFL GM Rand Carthon. Ryan's great. So in this draft, I think at number 19, or I don't know, maybe you trade up a little bit or trade back a little bit, preferably back. I think the Panthers' priority should be offensive line, left tackle. I know that we need an edge rusher. We need this. Like, you got to block better. Ike Ekwonu, even at full health, is not a great left tackle, in my opinion. So I asked Ryan if there was somebody that would profile well for the Panthers at 19.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a good point about the Panthers being a player away. Max is 29, maybe almost 30. And you get 3 years maybe. The other thing is you talk about 8 and 9. I think the Panthers last had a winning record in 2017. So if you're another 8.5, 9.5 win team in the NFC and you don't win the division, you're not going to the playoffs just because it's so deep. So just to bolster your points, I agree with that part of it. If you're looking for a left tackle, Hayden Proctor is going to be the name to watch out of Alabama. He's 6'7", 360 unofficially. He's probably pushing 380 if we're being realistic about it. But one of the best athletes, not offensive line, best athletes in this draft class. If you watching the Alabama last year, you saw him running the ball in short yardage situations. They threw a screen pass to him in that Georgia game, I believe it was. So he is freakishly athletic. He's inconsistent, and NFL teams are going to have concerns about keeping his weight down. If he can prove that he can do that, he'll probably go higher than 19. But he is a left tackle all day long, and he has a chance to be there in that range. Some other left tackles, Caleb Lomu out of Utah, not quite as big, but no one is Caden Proctor. Pretty technically sound, played 2 years at Utah. He's going to have a chance to be a first-round pick. And then I'll throw a flyer in there, Monroe Freeling, the left tackle out of Georgia. He's been getting talked up a lot over the last month or so. Solid player, probably mid to late first-round type talent, early second. But if you like him, you take him in round 1. And you don't really care what the media says about the value of these players.
Look, I'm all about that guy from Alabama, Caden Proctor. You're talking about a guy like who's a great athlete who they used occasionally as a running back? Left tackle? Yeah, all about that. All about it. All right, what about edge rusher? Everybody wants an edge rusher. By the way, in that clip, Ryan refers to Max Crosby. I've talked about this before. I don't want Max Crosby. Age. How much longer will Max be at the top of his game? How long will it take? And I'm not saying it's going to take Carolina 3 years from now to really become a contender. They still just won 8 games. We have to understand that. They won the division, but the division really won the Panthers. It's sort of that.
Yeah.
Like somebody has to go.
Yeah. No, you take it.
It just happened to be the Panthers. So getting the next 3 wins, which would put you in legitimate contender category, that's a whole lot more difficult. And I don't think they're one player away from that. The acquisition cost and all of that would scare me away. Not to mention 2 years from now, what is Max Crosby? 3 years from now, and the salary cap implications of all of it. So, at 19, I asked Ryan Wilson for some edge rusher possibilities.
Yeah, and, I know fans, I get where they're coming from, but Nick Scorton had 5 sacks and change, I believe.
I like him.
Princely Mamiellan flashed a little bit, so we'll see what happens there. But, right, you can never have enough edge rushers. So Arvell is going to be top 5. David Bailey is probably going to be a top 10 pick. Reuben Baines Jr., probably top 15 worst case, because the big issue with him is not the productivity. It's just the arm length that teams may have some concerns about. But as I think about it and go through this list, 19 is actually a pretty good spot to be. Keldrick Falk, the edge rusher out of Auburn, has a chance to be there. Getting off the bus, he's going to look a lot like Julius Peppers.
Oh, nice.
He's not Julius Peppers, but he looks like it, and he's just scratching the surface. He's just turned 21, and he got better each year at Auburn. Another name, a guy who didn't have a standout 2025, but 2024 was lights out, was T.J. Parker, the Clemson edge rusher.
Yeah.
He's 6'3.5". He's 260 legit. He has long arms. Absolutely destroyed the Senior Bowl, practiced all 3 days, and he is going to – if you like Jared Verse, that's who T.J. Parker is, and he may slip a little bit just because he didn't put up the 2024 numbers. Akeem Mesidor, one more I'll mention, Reuben Baines' running mate.
Yeah.
He's 25, so he's a little older. but he plays like a grown man, and he is electric playing and play out. Similar body type in that he's going to weigh about 270 plus, so maybe you have the versatility of playing him outside and kicking him inside,
right?
Depending on the down. But those are some guys that could certainly be there. And again, 19 might be the perfect spot to get one of these key players because somebody has to fall to you.
By the way, tomorrow, not just my opinion, we'll get the opinion of Joe Person from The Athletic on what he thinks the Panthers need, whether it's coming out of the draft or coming out of free agency. And I know that there are some players that the Panthers need to think about. Like, do we want to bring this guy back? Do we want to extend a contract? Ekwonu is one of those players. The Panthers had a really good, promising, I guess, first step. Give Dave Canales the first year off. A good first step last year towards being legitimately good. Victoria, thank you. See you about it tomorrow.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck. Shoot, he scores! The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's back. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards going on this weekend. And it's bringing the largest inventory and deepest discount of the year. Save thousands off top brands, on-site financing to get you approved and on the water, boats in stock and price to move now. Test ride your boat at delivery, get in a new boat, or upgrade in time for summer. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale going on this weekend at the Carscott Building in Raleigh, featuring Suzuki outboards.
Think Verizon is expensive? Think again. Anyone can bring their AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today and we'll give you a better deal. So bring us your bill. Walk in, run in, pogo stick in, teleport if you can. Ride on the back of a rollerblading yak or fly in on the wings of a majestic falcon. Any way you can, bring your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today